And a very pleasant good evening, baseball fans, and welcome to another edition of Klamath Falls Falcons Baseball on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. After 4 days off, the Klamath Falls Falcons return home to historic and legendary Kiger Stadium for an area doubleheader against the South Medford Colts. Glad to be with you tonight. My name is Josh Eldridge. First of two underway in just a couple of minutes. The Klamath Falls Falcons enter with an overall record of 19-6-1 and a 9-2 league mark. South Medford 6-7 overall in the season, 5-7 in area play for the Colts off a split their last time out against the North Medford Mavericks. That was on July 5th, where they defeated the Mavericks 4-3 and lost 10-1. A split for the Falcons, their last time out as well. They played North Jackson before the 4th of July holiday and wound up splitting with the Royals, winning the opener 6-2, but losing the nightcap in a heartbreaker in extra innings 2-1 against the Royals. So looking to right the ship for both teams today as an area doubleheader here at Kiger Stadium, just about 4 minutes away from first pitch. So we're going to step aside very briefly. When we come back, we'll introduce you to the starting lineups and get ready for first pitch coming up next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
The cars we drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
As a parent of a high school athlete, I've given up trying to get pictures of my kid playing sports. It's nearly impossible to take pictures and enjoy the game. There is a solution, though. God's Gifts Photography attends high school sporting events in the Basin to take individual and team action photos at a great price. Search God's Gifts 2 on Facebook to learn more. They'll come and capture your athlete in action, creating those frameable lifelong memories so you can watch and just enjoy the moment. Call 541-281-2206 to get your athlete on their schedule. God's Gifts Photography.
Nearly ready for first pitch tonight between the Klamath Falls Falcons and the South Medford Colts. Josh Eldridge, thank you so much for joining us on this fine Tuesday evening from Kiger Stadium. Let's go ahead and introduce you to the starting lineups for both teams, and we'll start with the visitors today from South Medford. The Colts leading off with their center fielder, Brady Clark. Batting second is their left fielder, Oliver Ackley. The second baseman, Bridger Gillespie, bats third for the Colts, followed by Randy Patrick, the shortstop, batting fourth. Hitting fifth is the designated hitter, Cole Johannes, followed by the third baseman, Max Ely, hitting sixth for the Colts. Batting seventh is Carter Shack, their catcher. Luke Nash, the right fielder, is in the 8-hole, and batting ninth is Montgomery Pepper, the first baseman for the Colts. They'll be going up against Colin Takini on the mound for the Klamath Falls Falcons, and the lineup behind him goes like this. Carson Sims leads off for the Falcons. He's at second base today. Connor Shively bats second at shortstop. Jacoby Takini is the catcher. He bats third for the Falcons. Colin Takini, the pitcher, batting cleanup. PJ Safford bats fifth. He's at third base today for the Falcons. Carson Pimley batting sixth in right field. Corbin Hamilton at first base, hitting seventh, and batting eighth is Ryan Glidden in center field. Ryan Douglas rounds out the Falcons' order in left field. They'll be going up against Grayson Peak on the mound for the Colts from South Medford. Last time these two teams met up was right before the Falcons took off for their trip to Alaska. It was back on June 21st, a sweep for the Falcons at South Medford High School. A winner in the first one, 15-2. Colin Takini was lights out at the plate in that contest. 7 RBI, 4 for 5 and a home run. Talk more about Colin as we move along in the broadcast today. And then, of course, the Falcons finishing out with a sweep, 12-4 against South Medford. Again, that was on June 21st. The previous time these two teams met this season. Just taking a quick look ahead of the schedule for the Klamath Falls Falcons before we move too much further in the broadcast. This is just a quick stop at home before 3 games on the road for the Falcons later on this week. They'll be taking on North Eugene in Eugene tomorrow night at 7:30, and then they'll be taking on the Salem Wellcare Dodgers in a 1 o'clock doubleheader in Salem, playing at Sprague High School on the 10th before returning home on the 11th, taking on North Jackson, the Royals, at 5:30. A area doubleheader would be the next time the Falcons return home. Again, that's on July 11th. But until then, we have got a big game in front of us tonight as the Falcons in second place in Area 4, trailing Central Point by a couple of games, looking to even things up in the standings or at least creep just a little bit closer as we come down the final stretch. Just a couple of minutes away from first pitch between the Falcons and the Colts. Back after this on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start?
Here, in the classroom.
On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
And welcome back to Kiger Stadium on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. The Falcons ready for first pitch as they take on the South Medford Colts in a doubleheader this afternoon. It is 86 degrees and the wind is blowing out to the north here at Kiger Stadium. The Falcons have taken the field wearing their red uniforms today with Falcons written across their chest, cursive in blue and white trim, and white pants for the Falcons today. South Medford, well, without their game jerseys quite yet. It seems as though someone may have left them in Medford. We'll get that sorted as we move throughout the first game today. They're expected to have their jerseys soon enough, but for all intents and purposes right now, they are just wearing blue with South Medford baseball written across their chest in white, and they've got gray pants. Colin Takini getting the start, the right-hander from Lakeview High School out there for the Falcons. A cursory look at him so far on the season, making his 6th start, his 7th overall appearance of the summer. 27 2/3 innings pitched for Colin. He's given up 26 hits, 12 runs, 9 of them earned. He's walked 8 against 24 strikeouts. He's got a 3-0 record and an ERA of 2.28. As he finishes up his warm-up tosses to Jacoby Takini. The other half of the Falcons battery. We'll take a look at the defense around the diamond for the Falcons in just a moment. As again, leading off for South Medford, it's going to be Brady Clark, followed by Oliver Ackley and Bridger Gillespie, the top three in the order for the South Medford Colts. As I said, the Falcons in a little bit of a rough patch on the season, so to speak, right now after a really successful trip to Alaska, dating back to that championship game, the loss against Madisonville, 1-0. The Falcons have traded wins for losses, picking up wins against one win against Grants Pass back on the 1st of July, 8-1, before losing to Phoenix the very next day, a 10-8 final score. Of course, they split with North Jackson and looking to get back to winning ways today against South Medford. The doubleheader begins now as Brady Clark settles into the right-handed batter's box for South Medford, getting the start in center field for the Colts. Colin Takini looks in. And here we go with the first pitch of the ball game. Misses low and in the dirt. The count is 1-0. First pitch at 5:36. A little bit behind schedule, but that's all right. Like I said, a beautiful day. No clouds in sight here on South 6th Street in Klamath Falls, and 86 degrees and sunny. It's going to be cooling down to low 80s tonight. Could creep into the 70s, but a perfect night for baseball as the 1-0 pitch is fouled off towards the first base side. Count is even to Brady Clark. Here comes Takini with the 1-1 pitch. Bouncing ball sent out towards shortstop. Shively up with it. Throw on to first is in time, and that'll be the first out in the first inning. Connor Shively patrolling shortstop. To his right is P.J. Safford at third. Carson Sims is at second with Corbin Hamilton over at first. Ryan Douglas is in left field. Ryan Glidden is in center field, and Carson Pimley patrols right for the Falcons today. Getting ready to step in now is Oliver Ackley, starting left fielder for the Colts. And the offering from Takini is an inside fastball that's called strike one. Ackley, the team's third leading hitter, batting .381 this season for South Medford. Takini fires a fastball on the outside. It's popped up behind home plate. Jacoby Takini, a good look at it, and makes the catch down the first base line in foul territory for the second out in the first inning. And now Bridger Gillespie, a chance to get a two-out rally started for South Medford in the top of the first inning. Gillespie is actually the team's leading hitter, batting .480 to start the summer through his first 25 at-bats. He's got 12 hits. 3 of them have been doubles as he takes ball one to start this at-bat here. On deck would be the shortstop, Randy Patrick. 1-0 on the way from Takini. A sharp ground ball out towards second. Sims a chance now. Comes up with it cleanly and has time to make a solid throw to first in time to retire the side. The Colts down in order in the top of the first inning. The Falcons get their first crack at it coming up next as we continue your coverage of Falcons baseball on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start?
Here, in the classroom.
On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Be great.
Participate.
It's the bottom of the first inning. Still looking for our first run, and the Falcons will have their first crack at Grayson Peak, the right-hander on the mound for South Medford. Taking a look at him on the summer, this is his second start of the year, his 6th overall appearance. 9 of the third innings pitched for him. He's given up 21 hits, 16 runs, although 12 of them earned. He's walked 5 against 3 strikeouts. He does not have a win or a loss yet, carries an ERA of 9 even. So Carson Sims due to lead things off for the Klamath Falls Falcons. Good to see him in the starting lineup, not only in the lineup, but leading off today. Sims exited the previous game for the Falcons with an apparent knee injury, caught a foul ball off the inside of his knee, but I think the time off that the Falcons have had these last 4 or so days has benefited him, being able to stay off that leg and, well, be ready to play second base today, a position in which he hasn't been able to play too much this summer. Sims takes the 1-0 pitch, hits a fly ball into shallow center field that finds its way down, and a leadoff single for Carson Sims is how the Falcons begin the bottom of the first inning. Brings up Connor Shively for the Klamath Falls Falcons. Shively getting the start at shortstop today. The team's second leading hitter, batting .449 coming into play today. See, corners come in to protect bunt against Shively. Sims with a fairly modest lead off of first. The Falcons have been aggressive this year on the base paths, though, as I've said many times. We'll see just how ready Sims' leg is to go if anything's on the happens over there at first. The first pitch missed outside to Shively on the fastball. Gets ahead 1-0. Peak takes a check over at Sims before coming set with the pitch. Sims dives back safely. So Shively will have to await the 1-0 pitch. Jacoby Takini is on deck for the Falcons. Peak again looking over at Sims before coming set. Now delivers the pitch. It misses low and away. Shively gets ahead 2-0. Last time these teams played in the nightcap, the Falcons won 12-4. Shively was 3 for 4 with a couple of runs scored in that contest. Did not see Peak, though, in that game. The South Medford Colts used 4 pitchers in that game. It was Max Ely who picked up the loss. But it'll be Shively's first look, like I said, here at Grayson Peak. The count 2-1. Last pitch finding the outside part of the zone. This pitch, Shively pushes the other way into left field, but Ackley is unable to make the catch. Throw to get Sims at second is in time. Sims froze on the line drive and then couldn't get to second in time. Not much you can do there as the error allows Shively to reach. Well, it might just actually wind up being a fielder's choice there for Shively as he reached and Sims was out on the play anyway. So still a runner at first. It's Shively now just with one away. And Jacoby Takini a chance to swing from the right side for the Falcons. Set with it is Peak. Shively on the move on the first pitch. Takini fly ball into center field, down for a base hit. Shively rounds second, heads for third, and he'll get in there standing. And the hit and run working to perfection there for the Falcons, putting runners at the corners for the cleanup hitter, Colin Takini. First pitch swinging, and Jacoby, just a lazy fly ball in the center field, but it's all that you needed to now put runners at the corners, and now Chase Barrett comes in to run for Jacoby, so he's aboard over there at first, and Colin Takini to hit now. Boy, like I said, did Colin have a great doubleheader against South Medford back on June 21st. In the 15-2 win for the Falcons, this was the first of a doubleheader. Colin Takini was 4 for 5 with 7 RBI, including a home run. That 7 RBI is still good for the single game high for a Falcons player this season. Going to take a check over at Chase Barrett at first before delivering to Takini. I'm sure he'd love to replicate that performance, but even if it's not that exact one, he still had a pretty good game in the nightcap, too. 2 for 4 with a couple more RBI in that game against South Medford. Another move over to first. Barrett again back safely. Shively gets more and more aggressive off of third with each check over to first. The third baseman, Ely, not really holding him there. He's playing in, trying to protect the bunt. See what Shively sees as Peak comes set. And the pitch. Barrett is on the move. They try to back pick to third, but Shively dives back safely, which means that Barrett is safely into scoring position, and the count will be 0-1 to Colin Takini. Took the pitch a little bit outside, but over the plate nonetheless. Now Colin settles back in, middle infield, plays back. The corner's even with the bag in the South Medford infield. Ely at third, Patrick at short, Gillespie at second, and Pepper at first. Here's a towering fly ball to right center field, but no one's going to be able to track it down. Shively's going to score. Put the brakes on Barrett, rounding third, but the throw in is wild. Barrett then decides better of it again. The pitcher was behind home plate, backing up the throw. But an RBI base hit for Colin Tacchini drives in Shively, moves Barrett to third, and the Falcons lead 1-0. Also advancing to second on the throw was Colin Tacchini. So 2 men remain in scoring position with just 1 out, and now a chance for P.J. Safford for the Falcons, now leading by a single run. Peak looks in, agrees with the sign delivered by Shaq. And the offering is popped up behind home plate. Shaq a chance near the backstop. He will bring it in for the out. And now Carson Pimley. Chance to swing for the Falcons here in the bottom of the first inning. Chase Barrett at third, Colin Tacchini at second. Carson Pimley this season batting .242, towards the bottom of the team in batting average, but hasn't had a ton of ABs yet this year, whereas a lot of his guys, his teammates, up over 60 and 80 in some cases. Pimley only taking his 34th at-bat of the summer. This is only his 10th start. Trying to make the most of it here in an opportunity with men in scoring position. He fouls off the first pitch and settles back in for the 0-1. Here's the delivery from Grayson Peak. Pimley watches that one sail outside, and the count goes even. On deck after Pimley is Corbin Hamilton. Pimley did get a chance against South Medford back in their first meeting of the season, but was 0 for 4 in that outing. Got the start in right field in the Falcons' 15-2 win back on June 21st. Takes ball 2 away, and now ready for the 2-1 pitch is Pimley. That one misses in the dirt. But a good job by the catcher, Shaq, to knock it down, not allowing Barrett any movement down there at third, but the count moves to 3 balls and a strike to the Falcons' right fielder. Pimley will be a senior next year for the Henley Hornets. 3-1, also misses outside and will load the bases. And so here comes Corbin Hamilton. Talk about a guy who's been seeing the ball well lately. Did a little bit of backtracking of Hamilton's stats before the game today. Before the trip to Alaska, Hamilton was batting .268. Since then, he's embarked on a 16-game hitting streak. He's seen his batting average climb to .400 even coming into play today. And now, in the bottom of the first inning, he gets a chance with the bases loaded. Set is Peak. And the pitch, Hamilton watches a fastball miss upstairs. The count 1-0. I think his performance in Alaska has just really helped Hamilton build some confidence. Even in the loss last time out, the 2-1 loss in extra innings, Hamilton came away with a good individual performance, coming out with 2 hits and a 2-for-3 effort. Now, he did wind up picking up the loss on the hill, pitching an inning and a third in that game, allowing the 1 consequential run to come across. But 2-1 game, it's a shame that anyone really had to lose that contest that went deep into the night in Eagle Point. Count 3-0 to Hamilton right now, in danger of walking in that run at third is Grayson Peak. He's going to have to get across a strike to one of the better hitters on the team. Here's the pitch. Well, he does just that. Hamilton takes a pitch over the middle of the plate. The count moves to 3 balls and a strike. On deck after Corbin is Ryan Glidden. Aggressive leads all around for the Falcons, and the 3-1 home will miss high and walk in a run. Chase Barrett comes in to score. Colin Tacchini moves to third. Carson Pimley to second. And after back-to-back walks, Corbin Hamilton is aboard at first, and the Falcons lead 2-0. Brings up Ryan Glidden, the senior from Klamath Union High School, class of 2025 graduate. The only Falcon to have graduated so far, only player on the field who's graduated so far. Most of South Medford's kids are class of 27 or lower. Only a couple guys will be elevated seniors next year for South Medford. As the first pitch called a strike against Glidden. Here's the 0-1. Glidden comes up empty on the 0-1, moves to 0-2. After Glidden in the order is Ryan Douglas if the inning continues for the Falcons. Runners on base have plagued the Falcons a couple of times this season. Hoping to come up in a bases loaded spot. Here's the 0-2. Glidden checks his swing and the pitch misses outside. Ball and 2 strikes. Like I said, that game against North Jackson, Falcons, they left 5 runners in scoring position in just that game alone. It's the 1-2 misses outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Glidden chokes up a little bit on the bat. Lines the 2-2 pitch into left field, and the catch is made in left field by Oliver Ackley. Had to slide to bring that one in and had the Falcons leave the bases loaded. But they do score 2 runs on 2 hits in the inning, and the Falcons lead 2-0 as we go to the top of the second inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
the pace and reach of social media,
the information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Getting set now for the top of the second inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com. The Klamath Falls Falcons lead the South Medford Colts 2-0. It'll be the middle of the order due up for the Colts. Randy Patrick, Cole Johannes, and Max Ely. Against Colin DeKeeney. Got through the first inning with ease, quite frankly. 7 pitches and 3 outs. Looking for more of the same to get the bats back up for the Falcons, who plated 2 runs in the bottom of the first. Here's the first offering from DeKeeney to Randy Patrick. It's a ground ball out towards second. Sims comes up with it, fires on to first, and there's the first out on the first pitch in the second inning. Good start there for Colin. So now it's Cole Johannes, the designated hitter for South Medford. Johannes on the season, batting .244 for South Medford. But his 8 RBI leads the pack so far through their first handful of games this year. First pitch from DeKeeney, the inside fastball, called a strike. After Johannes is Max Ely. Steps out of the box, but now the lefty settles back in. DeKeeney with the 0-1 pitch is a fly ball to left field, and Douglas makes the catch. A line drive. Douglas had to leap a little bit to bring that one in, but does so successfully for the second out in the second inning. Now it's Max Ely, batting .250 on the summer for South Medford. Ely class of 27 for the South Medford Panthers. Here's the first pitch from DeKeeney. And a firm fastball called a strike. About belt tie over the middle of the plate. And DeKeeney gets ahead quickly and ready to throw again out of the windup. Here's the offering. Another firm fastball. This one just misses a bit outside. Count moves to even to Max Ely with the catcher Carter Shack due up next if the inning continues for South Medford. Pitch from Colin. That time goes off speed, missing away. Count now 2-1. Ely does lead the team in walks this year for South Medford, a good understanding of the strike zone. He's got a pretty wide margin on that category as well as he fouls off the 2-1 pitch, making it now 2-2. 11 walks on the season for him. The next most would be Oliver Ackley with 8. Now the count even, and 2 outs in the top of the second inning. Takini looks in, throwing from the left side of the rubber. Here's the pitch. Line drive over the head of Safford and down into left field. And a 2-out base hit for Max Ely will bring up Carter Shack. First hit of the ball game for South Medford comes in the top of the second inning. So here comes the catcher, Carter Shack, batting .208 this summer for South Medford. Hasn't been able to have as many opportunities as the rest of his teammates. This being the 14th game of the season for South Medford. This is only Shack's 10th start. But 5 base hits in his first 24 tries as Takini blows the fastball by him on the first pitch. Falls behind 0-1. After Shack in the order, it's Luke Nash, the right fielder for South Medford. Takini takes a look at the runner at first, Ely, before coming set, and now delivers the 0-1. Another fastball that Shack is a bit late on, fouls it off, though, this time, and the count moves to 0-2. Well, just as Ely before him, Shack is also a categorical leader for South Medford. He's got the most strikeouts on the team. Takini looking to add another here on the 0-2 pitch and does just that. Gets him to chase the outside breaking ball for strike 3. And the Colts leave a runner stranded after their first base hit of the ball game. But as we go to the bottom of the second, they trail Klamath Falls 2-0 on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Time to reclaim your health and your autonomy. At Heartfelt OBGYN, they focus on you. Their evidence-based approach to care means fewer office visits and a targeted treatment plan to directly address your specific needs. They believe in solutions for their patients, not the industry's profit margin. The providers at Heartfelt OBGYN are committed to serving the community and giving back to the basin. Find them at heartfeltobgyn.com. Heartfelt, because you deserve to be in control of your body and your informed choices.
At Eisler Group, they are confident that their tax and accounting professionals are experienced and trained like no one else. From individual, corporate, partnership, estate, trust, Eisler Group stands ready to help you with all of your financial, tax, and accounting needs. They have been in Klamath Falls for nearly 60 years, raising their families here and being part of the community. The Eisler Group can be found at eislerkf.com. That's ISLERKF.com. eislerkf.com.
So get ready for the bottom of the second inning. I want to recognize one of our sponsors here on mybasin.com, Gino's Cafe on East Main Street. Open every morning at 6:30, serving their famous breakfast burritos. Those are served all day long, along with their other menu items like burgers, monthly specials, and Italian favorites. You can order online at iloveginos.com or have it brought right to you on DoorDash. It's a 2-0 ball game in the bottom of the second inning. The Klamath Falls Falcons leading the South Medford Colts. It's 9-1-2 due up for the Falcons in this half inning. That's Ryan Douglas, Carson Sims, and Connor Shively. So here's our first look at Ryan Douglas in this ball game. Douglas on the season batting .292 for the Falcons. 14 hits in his first 48 tries. This will be his 21st start in 27 now games for the Falcons. Here's the first pitch to Douglas as Peak floats across an off-speed pitch, gets ahead 0-1. Falcons used 3 hits to get across 2 runs in the bottom of the first, as that one almost hit Douglas, missing inside. Count is 1-1. Took the Falcons a little while to get the offense started last time they played South Medford. It's actually down 1-0 heading into the third inning of that game before they exploded for 6 runs in the third inning, eventually going to a 12-4 victory against South Medford. The 2-1 pitch to Douglas is swung on and missed. The count even now, 2 balls and 2 strikes. In that game, Douglas was 0 for 3. Here's the offering from Grayson Peak. Misses low and in the dirt. And the count runs full to Ryan Douglas. On deck, top of the order, Carson Sims. Douglas widens out the stance in a 2-strike count, chokes up on the bat. Here's the pitch from Peak. Hitting the air, right field. Coming in is the right fielder, Nash, but nobody is able to get there. The second baseman, Molesby, probably had a better look at it, but it just plopped right down there behind first base. And a leadoff single in the second inning for Ryan Douglas brings up Carson Sims. Well, like I said, good to see Sims in the order today. Took a foul ball off his knee last time out against North Jackson. I got a chance to talk to Carson just very briefly before the game started today. I asked him how the knee was doing. He's just a man of few words. He said, "It's getting there." I said, "Well, that's good." I didn't ask him if he was playing at the time or anything like that. Didn't know if he was going to be able to go yet, but getting the start at second base today. Here's the pitch to Sims. This is up the way. Count is 1-0. They try to get Douglas on the back door, but he's back safely at first. Well, Sims must have been ready to go because got a single his first time around. He was thrown out at second on kind of an awkward play in left field, but was able to single the first time around. Here's the 1-0 pitch to him. Line drive, right field. He's going to add another base hit. That one's going to roll near the foul line. Rounding second, headed for third is Douglas. They're going to keep him there. Sims in safely at second with a double, putting 2 men in scoring position for Connor Shively. Welcome back, Carson Sims. Shively an RBI opportunity here with his team already up a pair of runs. Shively the team leader in RBI this season with 33. Look at the break out of a little slump. Struggled in the doubleheader against North Jackson last time out. Had a lot of opportunities similar to this one that wound up passing him by, hoping to break that streak with a big at-bat here early in this ball game. Trying to pad his team's lead a little bit. He takes a ball upstairs, count 1-0. Peak set and delivers to Shively. That one misses off the plate outside. Count now 2-0 to Connor, along with leading the team in RBI. That's .449 on the summer. Left-handed hitter awaits the pitch from Grayson Peak. The 2-0 is fouled straight back. 2-1. Shively has been a real steady hand these last few games at shortstop as well. I think the trip to Alaska helped him build his confidence defensively as well, so much so that he brought home the Gold Glove Award from the Alaska 529 Midseason Classic as he takes the 2-1 pitch for count strike. First player from the state of Oregon to ever earn that award is the man in the left-handed batter's box, Connor Shively. The 2-2 pitch hit in the air towards left field in foul territory and drifting out of play, and the count remains 2-2. After Shively in the order for the Falcons, it's Jacoby Takini. Standing at third is Ryan Douglas. Thereafter, the leadoff single pushed to third. After the double by Carson Sims, he also is in scoring position. Peak set with the 2-2. And here it comes again. Hard grounder down the first base line. Foul. We'll do it once more. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Connor Shively. His first, going back to Shively playing shortstop, this is his first full summer at the shortstop position for the Falcons. It was also his first full season at that position during the spell as he takes the 2-2 inside and the count runs full Shively had traditionally been used as a catcher for Henley during his sophomore campaign. But in his junior year, moved him out to shortstop, and he's flourished. Here he sends a line drive into center field for a single. 1 run scores. Sims rounds third. He will score as well. And a 2 RBI single for Connor Shively makes it a 4-0 ball game in favor of the Falcons. A big-time RBI base hit there for Shively. Hoping that's a good turn of the page for him, and it brings up Jacoby Tacchini with a man on first and still nobody out in the second inning. Tacchini singled his last time up as well. And Chase Barrett, who had come in courtesy run, scored a run in the first inning. Set is peak, and the pitch. Shively on the move. The throw down is not going to be in time. In fact, kicks off of the second baseman's glove, but doesn't get far enough for Shively to advance any further. In for another stolen base there is Shively into scoring position. The pitch was called a strike, 0-1. Now for Connor this season, he is a perfect 14 for 14 in stolen bases this year. As Tacchini lifts one into the air, shallow right field. It gets down for another base hit. Shively breaks for third and will slide in safely. The throw winds up over the third baseman's head, then allowing Tacchini to advance to second on the error on the throw. He'll come out. Chase Barrett will come in and run for him again, but Shively in at third. Barrett in scoring position, the single in the error, and in steps Colin Tacchini in a very similar position that he found himself in his first time around. So we'll trigger a mound visit for South Medford. Grayson Peak looks like he's had the ball taken from him here. And a new man out of the dugout for the Colts. Logic says we've got a new pitcher coming out for South Medford. Here in the bottom of the second inning, a 4-0 ball game, and the Klamath Falls Falcons lead. We'll set everything up for you when we come back. You've got Falcons baseball on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
We drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon, soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys, and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
New pitcher coming in for South Medford, the lefty for South Medford, Isaiah Thomas, the team's leader in innings pitched. No wins or losses for him on the season yet. 19 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up 31 hits, 17 runs, 14 of them earned. He's walked 10 against 14 strikeouts, an ERA of 4.98. Looking to pour some oil on troubled waters here in the bottom of the second inning. The Falcons continue to surge here on offense. It's going to be two men in scoring position, already 2 runs home this inning. And the cleanup hitter, Colin Tacchini, will be Thomas's first task out of the bullpen. The runners on base is still the responsibility of the starter, Grayson Peak. And so can't quite give you the final line on him yet. But it's been 4 straight base hits for the Falcons to open the second inning, starting out with Douglas and a single. Sims followed it up with a double himself. And then Shively and Tacchini, each with singles. Shively now stands at third. He had an RBI on his single. And Jacoby, who's been courtesy ran for by Chase Barrett, he stands at second, had a single as well. So now here's Colin Tacchini, 1 for 1 today. He had an RBI and a single in the first inning and takes a pitch inside below the knees. Count moves to 1-0. Isaiah Thomas, class of 26 for South Medford and the Panthers. He'll be a senior next year. The 1-0 pitch on the way from the lefty. Here it comes. And Colin watches that one skip in the dirt. Count moves to 2-0. Well, after struggling at the plate last time out, the Falcons, who were hitless in the last 4 innings against North Jackson in the loss, have already collected 7 base hits in the first inning. Again, no outs have been recorded against them here in the second. Here's the 2-0. Takini takes that fastball on the inside corner for a strike. Shaq couldn't quite squeeze it, but as he kicks it around in the dirt, no one's on the move. The count moves to 2 balls and a strike to Colin Takini, who's pitched efficiently on the other end of things for the Falcons. Gave up a base hit in the top half of this inning, but otherwise was able to work a strikeout to leave that runner stranded. The 2-1 on the way to Colin. It's going to be a line drive into right field. Right fielder Nash brings it in, tagging from third, breaking for the plate, and scoring is Connor Shively. And a sacrifice fly and an RBI for Colin Takini makes it 5-0 Falcons. Chase Barrett remains at second, and so with one away, P.J. Safford will bat with a runner in scoring position.
Third baseman P.J. Safford.
That, by the way, Takini's second RBI of the contest. Here's P.J., who's 0 for 1 today, popped out to the catcher back in the first inning. Aggressive lead for Barrett off of second. The second baseman, Gillespie, trying to hold him there as the first pitch to Safford called a strike on the outside. The count is 0-1. Barrett's got a good aggressive secondary lead off of second base. Not a ton to speak of until the pitcher comes set, takes another half step. And now he's got Thomas thinking about it a little bit out there. There's the pitch. Safford pops out the other way, but it's out of play, foul towards the parking lot. The count moves to 0-2. After Safford in the order is Carson Pimley for the Falcons. 3 runs home this inning. Most recently on the sacrifice fly from Colin Takini, but still looking for more. The 0-2 on the way to Safford. It's a line drive into right field. It is fair down the line. Could be extra bases. It's going to score Barrett easily. Safford's digging for 2, and he will get in standing. And an RBI double makes it 6-0 Falcons. Seeing the ball in this one extremely well as a team there. PJ picking up his 3rd double of the summer and his 20th RBI. Here's Carson Pimley. Pimley is without an at-bat yet today. He walked back in the first inning, was left stranded in scoring position. But here in the second, the Falcons have just continued to pile on, now up 6-0. Isaiah Thomas set and delivers the pitch to Pimley. Watches it miss outside, 1-0. Well, talking a little bit more about P.J. Safford out at second base as get ready for the 1-0 pitch. Here it comes. Grounder foul. Count moves to 1-1. Safford, a multi-sport athlete at Klamath Union High School. Not only a baseball player, but also dons the helmet and pads come the fall season. Just saw that Klamath Union High School's football team has got a car wash fundraiser coming up this weekend. Head on out there to Coastal or Klamath Union High School. They're out there washing cars from 11 to 2 and support the KU football team. Here's a sharp grounder to short that is by the glove of Patrick and into left field. Safford rounds third and will score on the RBI single from Carson Pimley. Add another to the Falcons' lead as they are up 7-0. Pimley picking up his 9th RBI of the summer campaign on that base hit, and it brings up Corbin Hamilton. Keep the train moving. So you can hear Coach Teeters say in the third base coaching box. I'm sure Joe Takini down there on the first base side is echoing the same. as the first pitch is on the way to Corbin Hamilton. Thomas delivers. Knee high off the outside part of the plate. Count moves to 1-0. I think Thomas is perplexed about the lack of a strike call there. It looked just a little bit below the knees of Hamilton. Could have gone either way, but the right-handed hitter ahead in the count, 1-0. Here's the pitch from Thomas. This time Hamilton watches a fastball find the zone. The catcher, Shack, tries to throw down to first to get Pimley, but the throw winds up in right field. And off the error, Pimley will advance into scoring position. Second error committed by South Medford in this inning. And again, 5 runs home, only 1 away. And now with Pimley advancing into scoring position, eliminates the possibility of a double play. Hamilton walked his first time up. Even in the count here, a ball and a strike. The pitch is in the dirt. Count moves to 2-1. On deck is Ryan Glidden. He would be the 9th batter this inning for the Falcons. Hamilton stands tall in the right-handed batter's box, about 6'3", also a multi-sport athlete while we were talking about it. Hamilton also played basketball for the Henley Hornets during the winter time. A struggle season for the Hornets basketball season. You would find, I'm pretty sure everyone would agree with that sentiment, even the guys on the team, but Hamilton showed a lot of improvement on the hardwood during the winter. Just a really good sophomore academic sports year for him. Really look forward to watching him grow throughout his junior and senior season. Pitcher steps off. Isaiah Thomas, after checking on the runner out at second, wants to dig into the rubber a little bit ahead of the 2-2. Here it comes. Hamilton waves and misses at the 2-2 pitch. Will go down on strikes for the second out in the second inning, bringing up Ryan Glidden. Glidden hit a line drive to left field in the bottom of the first inning. Squared the ball up pretty well, but hit it right to Oliver Ackley out there, and it wound up leaving the bases loaded in that first inning. The Falcons, though, have not let that come back to haunt them. Again, have plated 5 runs in this frame. First pitch, Glidden takes for a strike outside. Right-handed bat from KU is down 0-1. Keeps his hands low, trying to get it quick through the zone. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Glidden watches that one for strike 2. On deck is Ryan Douglas. He started this inning with a leadoff single. But Isaiah Thomas trying to stop the bleeding, get the bottom of his order due up in the next half inning. Thomas set with the 0-2. And here's the pitch to Glidden. Nearly came in and hit Glidden. Oh, and it did hit Glidden on the back foot, it looks like. And so Ryan aborted first, and it will bring up Ryan Douglas. As I said, Douglas singled, and he would later score earlier this inning. Pimley remaining in scoring position at second. And here's the pitch to Douglas. Inside strike 1 called against the left fielder for the Falcons. On deck is the top of the order for the Falcons, Carson Sims. Delivery of the 0-1 pitch. Sharp grounder out to short. Planning on a couple hops is Patrick. He throws on to first in time, and that will end the inning. But the Falcons score 5 runs on 6 base hits in the inning, and they leave 2 runners stranded. 7-0 as we head to the top of the third on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
Getting set for the top of the third inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports. It's a 7-0 ball game in which the Klamath Falls Falcons lead the South Medford Colts. Due up this half for the Colts is Luke Nash, Montgomery Pepper, and Brady Clark. Looks like the Colts have received their game uniforms as well. Wearing blue tops with Colts written across their chest in bold white text and white numbers across their backs. All except for Luke Nash. Doesn't have his jersey on yet, but he had to get ready to hit. He'll take strike one and falls behind in the count against Colin Takini. 0-1 goes with the heater and gets a swing and a miss from Nash. The count is 0-2. Takini is working quickly and efficiently, at least so far. Still in the early going of this contest. The 0-2 is on its way, and it's an inside fastball that he blows right by Nash. 3 straight heaters, and see you later. Bring up Montgomery Pepper for the South Medford Colts. Pepper this season at the dish is batting .182. He's 4 for his first 22 at the plate. The first pitch to him is an inside fastball fouled back into the glove of Takini, but there for strike one. Colin is bringing the heat here in the top of the third inning. The 0-1. That one is also an inside pitch that's called for a strike. 0-2. Looked like he dialed it back a little bit on that pitch. But here comes the 0-2 looking to set down Pepper. And fouls it back into the glove of Takini. Back-to-back Ks. 3 straight dating back to the second inning. And that's a quick way to get started in the third inning. Back to the top of the order now for Brady Clark. Clark is 0 for 1 in the ball game. He grounded out back in the first. Pitch from Takini. Drops in a breaking pitch for strike one. Started upstairs, but then broke right over the heart of the zone. Takini, here he comes with the 0-1. Grounder to third. Safford plays it on a hop. Strong throw to Hamilton. Takes Corbin off the bag, but he applies the tag to the runner, and that will end the inning. The Colts down in order in the top half of their third inning. Falcons get another look at things coming up next as they lead 7-0. Back after this on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
It's the bottom of the third inning, and the Klamath Falls Falcons lead the South Medford Colts 7-0. The first of a doubleheader tonight from Kiger Stadium. If you're cruising around town or thinking about spending your Tuesday evening at home, come on out to the ballpark. Concession stand is open. You can still make it out and catch probably the tail end of this one in a full nightcap this evening under the lights here at historic Kiger Stadium. Got a good look at the attendance just before first pitch. Quite a few folks lining the grandstand here at Kiger. So come on out and join the fanfare. Grab a hot dog, a hamburger, and enjoy Falcons baseball. If you don't, that's okay. Appreciate you joining me all the same and supporting the Falcons this year as Carson Sims gets ready to lead things off for the Klamath Falls 9 as the first pitch is a breaking ball outside, called a strike, and Sims falls behind 0-1. He's the leadoff hitter in the order and leading off here in the bottom of the third, a game in which the Falcons lead 7-0. Here's the 0-1 to Sims. Lifts that one into the air behind first base, out of play, foul. Count is 0-2 to Sims, who's 2 for 2 already in the contest. He singled in the first inning. He doubled and would later score in the second inning. Isaiah Thomas now squarely into the second inning of his relief performance today as he gets ready to fire the 0-2 pitch to Carson Sims. Here it comes. That one sails well outside, the count 1-2. I bring up Isaiah Thomas into the second inning so we can give you the final line for Grayson Peak, who pitched 1 inning for South Medford in the start, giving up 7 hits, 6 runs, all of them earned, and he walked 2 with no strikeouts. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Sims. He rung him up on the outside fastball. Sims down looking for the first out in the third inning. So bring up Connor Shively, who is 1 for 2 today. Shively reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the first. He had an RBI single in the second and also came around to score himself in that inning as well. Tasked with getting a rally started here in the bottom of the third. Pitch to Shively, is lined right back up the middle, through into center field, and another knock for Connor puts him on first with 1 away in the bottom of the third. 10th hit of the day for the Klamath Falls Falcons. And here's Jacoby Takini. He's 2 for 2 himself on the afternoon. Couple of singles. And Chase Barrett has been the beneficiary of a couple of runs scored as well, running in place of Takini. Scored both times around the bases. Here's the offering to Jacoby. Off-speed pitch, hit hard the opposite way, but just foul down the right field line. Allowed strike 1 to the Falcons catcher. On deck is the Falcons pitcher, Colin Takini. Thomas settles back on the rubber for the 0-1. Not much of a lead off of first for Connor, but he doesn't need much typically. As Thomas delivers the pitch. Hard hit ball into right field. The right fielder Nash over a couple of steps to make the catch. And that will be the second out in the third inning, bringing up Colin Takini. Shively remains at first on the flyout. Hard hit ball the opposite way, but Nash moving over into the right center field gap was able to make the catch. Setting down Takini for the first time today. But Colin a chance now. He's picked up right where he left off last time against South Medford. Maybe not as many hits. Hasn't yet hit a home run like he did last time against these guys. But 2 at-bats. He's already got 2 RBIs. 1 for 1 and a sacrifice as well. Shively on the move on the first pitch to Colin. Shively got a great jump, and he is in with ease. And another stolen base for Shively in this ball game. Now 15 on the season, and no one has caught him yet. That pitch was called a strike to Colin, but now an RBI opportunity with 2 away in the bottom of the third, and to pad his team's lead just a bit, up 7-0 here in the bottom of the third. Again, the first of a doubleheader tonight between the Falcons and the Colts. Second baseman Gillespie over there just trying to keep Shively close to the bag. And the pitch from Thomas. The 0-1 is a ground ball over to short. Up with it is the shortstop Patrick, but unable to make a throw is Takini hustling down the line. They'll give him the infield single. It also advances Connor Shively to third. Colin now 2 for 2 on the day. Extending the inning, giving P.J. Safford an opportunity now with runners at the corners and 2 away. Safford coming up with an RBI double his last time around, would also come in to score. Aside from his offensive prowess PJ also had a good game on the mound. Last time the Falcons had a game, it was the first of a doubleheader against North Jackson. The Falcons won that game 6-2. Safford takes strike one on the inside corner. Pitched his second complete game of the season. He's the only Falcon to have pitched a complete game this summer. And in that win, struck out 5 batters. Just a quality outing for the right-hander, but now looking to come up with another RBI for his team. Runners at the corners in an 0-1 count. The left-handed pitcher makes a move over to first, but Colin Tacchini back safely. Shively aboard at third. The Colts got to be worried about him. Probably a little bit more than they've got to be worried about Colin at first. The catcher, Shaq, last time in a scenario like this, decided to backpick the runner at third. See if that's the case again if Colin winds up on the move. Safford, ground ball to short, backhanded by the shortstop, Patrick. This time he's able to make the throw on to first to end the inning. No runs on a couple of hits for the Falcons. They leave them both stranded, but a 7-0 lead as we go to the top of the fourth on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been waiting forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place home. And then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
Set in the top of the fourth inning, and the Klamath Falls Falcons lead the South Medford Colts 7-0. Check of the line score. The Falcons have scored their 7 runs on 11 hits. They've committed no errors, and they have left 7 runners on base. South Medford is yet to get a run across. They've got 1 base hit. They've committed a couple errors. They've left 1 runner on base. As we get set for the fourth inning, it'll be 2, 3, and 4 in the lineup for South Medford. That's Oliver Ackley, Bridger Molesby, and Randy Patrick. As Colin Tacchini continues his warm-up tosses in between innings. He's been efficient, to say the very least, through the first 3 innings. I mean, we just read you out the line score. He's only given up 1 base hit. And he's also kept the pitch count down, 26 pitches through the first 3 innings. And he's nearly faced the minimum, allowing just that 1 base hit. And that came in the second inning. So here's Oliver Ackley stepping in now for South Medford. Ackley is 0 for 1 in the contest. He popped out to the catcher back in the first inning. The infield for the Falcons disperses after offering up some words of encouragement to Colin ahead of the first pitch of the fourth inning. Here it comes. Tacchini floats across a breaking ball for the first strike. Has done a really wonderful job of throwing strike one. That's the main reason he's been able to keep the pitch count down so far in the game. He's also been great at finding strike two, and that one, a fastball on the outside corner, moves the count 0-2 in Tacchini's favor. He's got 3 strikeouts today. Looking for number 4 against Oliver Ackley. Here's the 0-2. This is a line drive into right field. Pimley lays out for it and makes the catch. Stealing away a base hit from Oliver Ackley. Pimley, tip of the cap to you, and that's the first out in the fourth inning. Brings up Bridger Molesby for the South Medford Colts, pardon me. Molesby is 0 for 1 in the game. He grounded out to second base back in the first inning. First offering from Tacchini. Misses inside on the breaking ball. Count is 1-0. Molesby gets in close to the right-handed batter's box, close to the plate. gets out in front of this one and sends a ground ball to short that skips under the glove of Shively and into center field. And an error will allow Molesby to reach base, bringing up Randy Clark. Shively just kind of tried to get his momentum going to first before the ball got to him all the way. It maybe took his eye off it for just a moment as it skated underneath his glove and into the outfield, allowing a one-out base runner for South Medford. So here's Randy Patrick, the cleanup hitter, batting now with that runner aboard at first. Takini with the first offering goes outside with the hard stuff but misses away. Count moves to a ball and no strikes. Patrick also grounded out to second base, although he was the first casualty of the second inning. Takini checks on the runner Molesby before coming set and now delivers the 1-0. Finds the zone with that one and evens the count at a ball and a strike. This season, Randy Patrick batting .279, but has the most singles on the team with 11. Not a guy who collects a lot of extra base hits, only one extra base hit this season as he takes strike two on the outside corner. 1-2 now to Patrick, but in the cleanup spot, you get him with guys on base. Well, sometimes all you need is a single. Settles back in. Keeps his hands low in a 2-strike count as Takini checks on the runner at first, but Molesby dives back safely. Patrick keeps his hands kind of near his letters in the batter's box as well. Doesn't wrap him around the back of his helmet too much. Sort of just trying to get him quick through the zone, like I've said about a couple of the Falcons players as well. It's a good approach with 2 strikes, especially when you're just trying to put the ball in play in a situation like this. Patrick, the shortstop. Imagine he's got some speed to try to beat out the back end of a double play, but the Falcons' middle infield ready to turn 2 ahead of the 1-2 pitch. Here it comes. Runner on the move. Pitch misses upstairs. The throw down to get the runner is in time. And Molesby is gunned down in the second out in the 4th inning. Again, that pitch missed upstairs, so the count is 2-2, but now the bases are empty, and there's 2 outs. Throw wasn't even exactly on the money from Takini, but a good job by Shively to first field the ball cleanly and then apply the tag. And Molesby was out by just a hair, but out nonetheless. And then Colin Takini goes breaking ball for strike 3 looking. Down goes Patrick to end the 4th inning. We'll go to the bottom half next, and the Falcons lead 7-0 on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start?
Here, in the classroom.
On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate.
It's the bottom of the 4th inning, and the Klamath Falls Falcons lead the South Medford Colts 7-0. Due up this half for the Falcons is Carson Pimley, Corbin Hamilton, and Ryan Glidden. That's 6, 7, and 8 in their order as they look to build upon their 7-run advantage. Isaiah Thomas still out there throwing for South Medford. Put up a 0 against the Falcons in the 3rd inning. A couple of base hits that the Falcons couldn't get across in that frame, but hoping for more here in the 4th. Pimley 1 for 1 today. He's reached base twice. He walked in the 1st, and he singled in the 2nd. Also had an RBI in that bat as well, did Pimley. Had quite the catch on the defensive end, and that came up last inning. A diving catch stealing a leadoff base hit away from the South Medford Colts. Here he'll take strike one on the outside. The count is 0-1. Thomas going with the outside fastball. The lefty staying away from the right-handed hitting Carson Pimley. Again, Shack gives the target in a similar location, though this time Pimley fists the inside pitch down to first base, and catching it on the fly is Pepper for the first out in the fourth inning. So now it's Corbin Hamilton. Chance to bat for the Falcons. He's 0 for 1 today, but he did walk in the first inning. Otherwise, he struck out chasing a high fastball in the second. Hamilton coming into this game batting .400. Watches the first pitch drift outside. Count is 1-0. Getting the start at first base tonight, like I said, was unfortunately the losing pitcher in the last time out for the Falcons, their game against North Jackson. Pitching an inning and a third, but only giving up that one run. It was the walk-off run for North Jackson, a bases-loaded base hit. Sunk the Falcons in a late night in Eagle Point. But so far, Falcons are not letting one loss turn into multiple. Again, still got to get the last few outs of this game, but up 7 runs. The Falcons were swinging the bat well early. Now you just got to stave off a comeback for South Medford. You got yourself back in the win column as Hamilton comes up empty on the 2-0 pitch. Count moves to 2-1. And I will say that's been something that the Falcons have done well during this stretch of games where they've sort of traded wins for losses. Yeah, they've played around 500 since coming back from Alaska as Hamilton checks his swing on the 2-1, just misses low and away. The count's 3-1. But they've had some tough losses mixed in there. Of course, that one against North Jackson, not the only one. I'd say even the loss in the championship game against Madisonville from Kentucky, that was a 1-0 tough loss. It's the 3-1 finds the upper outside corner of the zone against Hamilton. Thought it was ball 4, but he'll have to settle back in for a 3-2. So you go back to that game and then look at the Phoenix game where you lose 10-8. You come back and you win your first game after that. Those are all tough losses as Hamilton sends a line drive into left field and gets a base hit out of a full count. And for that, Corbin Hamilton extends his hitting streak to 17 games. And he's aboard at first with a one-out knock in the fourth inning. 12th hit of the day for the Falcons is Corbin Hamilton's, and it brings up Ryan Glidden, who's 0 for 1 today. Glidden flew out in the first and was hit by a pitch in the second. Thomas steps off before getting back on the rubber for the first pitch to Glidden. Umpire calls time, forcing the pitcher to step off. It was Glidden who called time at the plate initially, but it looks like we're all on the same page now. Hamilton takes a modest lead off of first, not much to speak of as Thomas comes set with the first pitch to Ryan Glidden. Glidden checks his swing, but will look at strike one. I think it's credit to a young team, and especially, you're now 27 games into the schedule, which started less than a month ago. Remember, our first game was June 11th. And so it's been 27 games in about 28 or 29 days, somewhere in there. It's that pitch called a strike. Count 0-2. A lot of baseball coming right after the end of the prep season, and so you get to this part of the year, and it's really easy to let those tough losses kind of spiral your campaign. And I think even the Falcons from a season ago may have let that happen. But this year they've been level-headed enough to be able to come back to the ballpark after a tough loss and make it happen for them. Here they've done a nice job of rallying. Colin Takini's pitching well, and they find themselves up by 7 runs in the bottom of the fourth inning. Again, not through out of the woodwork yet, but got to feel good. 12 hits already in the ballgame. Here's the 0-2 to Glidden. It's a curveball that just misses outside. Count is 1-2. It's going to take some mental fortitude down the stretch for the Falcons, too. They can't just let it get them through this part of the season because you're still behind Central Point in the standings by a couple of games. And so Glidden sends one high deep to left field. That one is gonna just bend foul. Would have been extra bases for sure. Probably would have scored a run, but instead Glidden will have to jog all the way back to first and resume the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The final series of the regular season for the Klamath Falls Falcons is a doubleheader at Central Point, and that's July 18th. Falcons, really, if they want to control their own destiny and take the top spot in the conference, really need to win out in conference play. That means sweeping South Medford today, North Jackson on Friday, and then you've got North Medford and Central Point down the line later on this month. Here's the 1-2 on the way to Glidden again, and he takes it below the knees for ball 2. If you're able to do that, you're able to knock Central Point out of that top spot, regardless of what the Comets do the rest of the season. Now, you hope that a couple of teams are able to find a way to knock off the top team in our conference, makes it a little bit more of a forgiving path for the Falcons moving forward. As the 2-2 fouled off, Glidden really putting up a battle up there at the plate. Stays alive with a runner on first, Corbin Hamilton. 1 away, the bottom of the 4th inning. But North Jackson, hot on the heels of the Falcons 2, South Medford in 4th place, North Medford in 5th place, and Grants Pass, well, they're still looking for their first league win, although our season series with them is effectively done as the 2-2 misses outside and the count runs full to Ryan Glidden. You might remember the last time the Falcons were at home, it was a scheduled doubleheader against Grants Pass, but lightning and a power issue with a transformer in the stadium lights caused us to postpone the nightcap of that doubleheader. The 3-2 to Glidden is a ground ball to right side of the infield, through and into right field for a base hit. Hamilton stays at second. A great at-bat by Ryan Glidden results in a base hit. That was a real veteran at-bat by the Falcons. Center fielder puts 2 men on with 1 man out for Ryan Douglas. And it looks like we may get a new pitcher from it as well. Don't know if it's pitch count that they're worried about with Thomas, or that at-bat from Glidden was all the coaching staff needed to see. But South Medford making a change here in the bottom of the 4th inning before the at-bat with Ryan Douglas. Our score is 7-0, and the Falcons have 2 men on and 1 man out. The 4th inning. Back after this on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
the pace and reach of social media,
the information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Bottom of the 4th inning, and a new man on the mound for the South Medford Colts as they trail the Klamath Falls Falcons 7-0. It's Colt Johannes, the former designated hitter, will now take over pitching duties. This is his 9th appearance of the season. They've all come in relief. In 13 innings pitched, he's given up 10 hits, 5 runs, all of them earned, 7 walks against 7 strikeouts, an ERA of 2.69. He'll try to keep the game right where it is. His team in a 7-run deficit, and he'll take over with 2 men on and 1 man out in this 4th inning. Corbin Hamilton is aboard at second. Ryan Glidden is aboard at first. And Ryan Douglas will get a chance to swing away. The number 9 hitter in the Falcons lineup is 1 for 2 today. He singled and scored in the second inning, and then later in the second inning grounded out to end that frame. That was the inning in which the Falcons scored 5 of their 7 runs. The other 2 coming back in the first inning. But Douglas, first pitch swinging, sends one deep to left field over the head of the left fielder, Ackley. They're waving Hamilton in, and he will score. Advancing to third is Ryan Glidden, and an RBI double for Ryan Douglas makes it an 8-0 ball game, and the Falcons extend their lead. First pitch swinging for Douglas, and he puts some air behind it. Comes away with a 2-bagger. Lineup turns over now for the Falcons. It's Carson Sims. Sims is 2 for 3 today. He singled in the first and doubled in the second. Scored a run as well in that second inning. Now an opportunity with 2 men in scoring position. He checks his swing and gets ahead 1-0 against Cole Johannes. He's coming in relief of Isaiah Thomas. Thomas still responsible for Glidden, the runner at third, so I can't entirely give you the final line score on him yet. As the 1-0 pitch found the zone against Sims, looks at strike 1. And count is even. Sims, as I said, has swung the bat very well today, but now a real RBI opportunity for the Falcons' second baseman. That one's popped up out of play. Count moves to a ball and 2 strikes. On the season, Sims with 12 RBI. Hasn't been a guy who's had a lot of RBI opportunity. He's been more tasked with getting the rally started, and for that he's been great. Second on the team in total bases this summer with 43. Here's the pitch to Sims. He will look at strike 3 for the second time today. The outside fastball caught Sims, and it will bring up Connor Shively. Shively is 2 for 3 today, and an RBI came in the second inning, but singles in the second and third, reaching on a fielder's choice in the first. Here's the pitch to Shively. Line drive over the head of the shortstop, in for a base hit. Glidden scores, and in comes Douglas. He's in as well. And a 2 RBI single for Connor Shively puts the Falcons up 10-0. And the Falcons now in Mercy Rule territory, headed to the top of the 5th. Next, those runs important for Shively. 3 RBI total on the game for him now. 3 for 4 in the contest. He's having himself a great game so far against South Medford. Jacoby Takini steps in now. He's done well for himself in the ball game. 2 for 3 for him. A couple of singles in the first and second innings as he takes a knee-high fastball on the outer third for strike 1. After Jacoby in the order for the Falcons, it's Colin Takini, the cleanup hitter, due up next. Cole Johannes said with the 0-1. Misses low, even though the pitch was over the plate. Count is even now to Jacoby. This season, Jacoby batting .256. Has caught all but, I believe, 4 games for the Falcons this season. As that pitch called a strike, count now 1-2. Chokes up a little bit in a 2-strike count. Takini readies for the offering from Cole Johannes. Here's the pitch. Ripped down the third base side. Foul. Count remains 1-2. Shively an aggressive lead off of first, even with 2 outs. He's got good speed. If Jacoby's able to punch a ball in the hole somewhere, don't be surprised that they wave Shively in, try to make South Medford make a play. Haven't been able to get a runner out advancing yet today. The Falcons have effectively been able to do what they want to on the base paths, and that is their game plan each and every time they take the field, dominate the base paths. At least that's what they've done through the first half of the summer, as Takini takes an inside curveball for a ball, and the count is even. 10-0 Falcons lead, bottom of the 4th inning. If you're curious who's due up next for South Medford, it's 5, 6, and 7 in their order. As Takini takes strike 3 on the outside, we'll see 5, 6, and 7 in the South Medford order next, as the Falcons again lead 10-0, heading to the top of the 5th on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
to reclaim your health and your autonomy. At Heartfelt OBGYN, they focus on you. Their evidence-based approach to care means fewer office visits and a targeted treatment plan to directly address your specific needs. They believe in solutions for their patients, not the industry's profit margin. The providers at Heartfelt OBGYN are committed to serving the community and giving back to the basin. Find them at heartfeltobgyn.com. Heartfelt, because you deserve to be in control of your body and your informed choices.
At Eisler Group, they are confident that their tax and accounting professionals are experienced and trained like no one else. From individual, corporate, partnership, estate, trust, Eisler Group stands ready to help you with all of your financial, tax, and accounting needs. They have been in Klamath Falls for nearly 60 years, raising their families here and being part of the community. The Eisler Group can be found at eislerkf.com. That's ISLERKF.com. eislerkf.com.
Getting back set for the top of the fifth inning, the Klamath Falls Falcons will look to close out the South Medford Colts in Game 1 of a doubleheader tonight from Kiger Stadium. The Falcons are able to record 3 outs before South Medford can get a run across the board. This game will be over via mercy rule. Colin Takini, who's been cruising right along, will look to make that possibility a reality here and save not only his own arm, but also the rest of the Klamath Falls Falcons pitching staffs, who is about to embark on quite the slate of games for the rest of the month. After tonight's doubleheader, the Falcons on the road tomorrow against North Eugene at 7:30. They're on the road against the Salem Dodgers for a 1 o'clock doubleheader at Sprague High School on the 10th. And then back at home on the 11th against North Jackson. The Falcons will be looking for revenge against the Royals here at Kiger Stadium on the 11th. That'll be a 5:30 first pitch at a doubleheader. So a lot of baseball coming up. I think it's important for the Falcons to try and limit the amount of pitchers that need to be used, especially if they can get through this one just off the arm, the right arm of Colin Takini. He starts off the first batter with a ball outside, but the 1-0 pitch is bounced out towards second. Sims unable to come up with it cleanly, and an error will allow Cole Johannes to reach base in the top of the fifth inning. Second error of the day for the Falcons allows the leadoff runner to reach in the fifth. And it brings up Max Ely, who's 1 for 1 today, has the only base hit for South Medford thus far. Timeout called at the plate. I think got to tie the shoes of the batter, and I think he just tucked him into his socks. So got a loose front shoe for Max Ely. But here we go. We were ready for the first pitch out of the hands of Colin Takini. Goes breaking ball, and it misses wide. The count is 1-0. As I was about to say, a big gap on the right side of the infield with Hamilton holding the runner. And the second baseman, Sims, cheating over there for a double play. The 1-0 is going to miss off the inside. Looked to be the curveball there from Colin. The count 2-0. Outfield shaded a little bit to the left for the Falcons and a couple of steps in as Max Ely awaits the 2-0 pitch from Takini. It's fouled back. Counts 2-1. After Ely in the order, it's Carter Shack for South Medford. Well, talked about Klamath Falls' upcoming schedule. South Medford embarks on quite the stretch of games over the next few days as well. Off tomorrow, but then they host the Grants Pass Diggers on Thursday. Off Friday before returning on Saturday for another home doubleheader against Central Point. The 2-1 pitch from Takini misses downstairs, count 3-1. They'll finish out their slate of league games on July 15th. They play a road doubleheader against North Jackson and then a non-league doubleheader against Siskiyou. That'll be on July 19th, closing out the regular season for South Medford. As the 3-1 misses low and away, and a walk will move a runner into scoring position. That's Cole Johannes, and Max Ely, of course, now aboard at first, bringing up Carter Shack. Shaq this season for South Medford is batting .208. Stands tall in the right-handed batter's box. Big run out there in scoring position would extend the ball game if it came across. It's Colin Takini working from the stretch. Here's the pitch. The fastball misses low and gets under the glove of Takini, and that will allow both runners to advance, and the count will move to 1-0. Be a pass ball, allowing those runners to move along. Johannes to third, Ely to second. And now Shaq with a big-time opportunity to get a couple of runs across the board for South Medford. And last time that these two teams played, 15-2 was the win for the Falcons, 12-4. So offense has been hard to come by for South Medford against the Falcons, but now with their backs up against the wall, they're showing some fight. The 1-0 is a sharp grounder to third. Safford comes up with it, fires across the diamond in time for the out. And now there's one away. Both runners stay put. It's Johannes at third, Ely at second. It'll bring up Luke Nash with one gone in the fifth inning. Luke Nash 0 for 1 today. He struck out back in the third inning. Now, Colin Takini was in a spot very similar to this last time out for the Falcons in the game against North Jackson. Here's the pitch. Called a strike, inside heater to get ahead. Takini overtook the pitching duties late in the ball game. And after a leadoff triple, which would have been a go-ahead run for North Jackson, Colin Takini went 3 straight strikeouts to leave that runner at third stranded. Big pitches in a big spot for him. Extended the ball game at the time. Again, ultimately the Falcons would end up falling, but that was a big moment in that ball game that could have shifted the tides in favor of the Falcons. The 1-1 on the way from Colin, misses upstairs, count 2-1. Hasn't been someone to let the pressure get to him so far this summer, but has found himself in plenty of spots like this, needing to leave those runners in scoring position if the Falcons want to end this one early. Here's the 2-1. Fastball blows right by Nash for strike 2. And the count is even. On deck for the Colts is Monty Pepper. Big lead off a second for Max Ely. No one really holding him there. And timeout is called, and Jacoby Takini comes out and has a quick chat with the pitcher. Gives us an opportunity to remind you that today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Abby's Legendary Pizza. If you're looking for a great place to eat, head to one of Abby's Legendary Pizza locations for some of the best pizza in the Klamath Basin at 1919 Austin Street or 2226 Shalleck Street near OIT. Abby's Legendary Pizza is a proud supporter of our coverage of high school sports and Klamath Falls American Legion baseball. 2-2 the count to Luke Nash as Jacoby Takini returns behind home plate. Colin Takini comes set on the mound. Delivers the 2-2. Fastball swung on and missed, and a big second out here in the top of the fifth inning. It'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Monty Pepper. Second time that Nash has gone down on strikes today, as Pepper also went down on strikes in his only other at-bat, 0 for 1 today. That was back in the third inning. Takini looks in to get the sign from Jacoby and comes set. And the pitch is on its way. Goes curveball to get across strike 1. Find a little movement on the outside part of the zone. Uses it to get ahead of Pepper. If this inning continues, Brady Clark is on deck for South Medford. Pitch on the way from Colin is hit foul. And South Medford down to their final strike of this ball game. Colin selects his pitch. Jacoby gives the target. And here it comes. Fisted foul, and we'll do it again, 0-2. Back in the right-handed batter's box is Monty Pepper trying to extend this ball game. Spreads out his hands on the bat in a 2-strike count. Here's the delivery from Tacchini. Chases the high fastball, strike 3, and that will do it. The Klamath Falls Falcons come away with a 10-0 victory in Game 1 of a doubleheader tonight against the South Medford Colts. Stick around for us as we'll go over the stats from this game, give you a couple notables, and set you up for our nightcap tonight, which will be scheduled to start in probably about 25 or 30 minutes. We'll get you ready for it coming up next as we continue your coverage of Falcons baseball on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and little league teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars, there are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start?
Here, in the classroom.
On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
Josh Eldridge back with you after Game 1 has gone final between the Klamath Falls Falcons and the South Medford Colts. A 10-0 win for the Falcons as they score those 10 runs with 15 hits, committing 2 errors and leaving 8 runners on base. South Medford, no runs on 1 hit. They committed 2 errors as well. They left 3 runners on base. The winning pitcher today going 5 innings in a complete game is Colin Tacchini. Gave up that 1 hit. He walked 1. He struck out 6 batters, only needing 55 pitches. Great outing for Colin Tacchini in his 4th win of the summer. The loss goes to Grayson Peak. The starter for South Medford today pitched the opening inning, giving up 7 hits, 6 runs, all of them earned. He walked 2 and did not have any strikeouts. Couple of notables for the Klamath Falls Falcons today. A fantastic Game 1 for Connor Shively as he finished 3 for 4 with 4 RBI and 2 runs scored. He was helped out by Carson Sims, who finished 2 for 4, had a double. P.J. Safford was 1 for 3 with an RBI. He had a double as well. Ryan Douglas, an extra base hit, 2 for 3 and an RBI for him. Let's see, Colin Tacchini was also 2 for 2 and a couple of RBI. Colin adding a sacrifice fly for his RBI today. A quiet day offensively for South Medford. The 1 base hit going to Max Ely. He also walked in the contest. Otherwise, no one else collecting a base hit for South Medford as they were shut out 10-0. This win for Klamath Falls improves them to 26-1 on the season. 20 wins, 6 losses, 1 tie. They're 10-2 in league play this summer. For South Medford, they fall to 6-8 overall on the season, 5-8 in area play. Game 2 of a doubleheader set to start in probably about 20 minutes. So if you're watching on the live stream on mybasin.com, stick around. Don't go anywhere. We'll be live on this very same link when the time is right here on mybasin.com. If you're listening on the radio on 104.3 and 960 Sports, we're going to turn you over to Fox Sports Radio for well, about 20 or so minutes until we welcome you back for the nightcap tonight between the Klamath Falls Falcons and the South Medford Colts. We're here at Kiger Stadium tonight. Come on out if you have a chance. Join us, grab some concessions, and enjoy Falcons baseball. If you're waiting for us to come back on the air in just a few, we'll see you then. Until, though, my name is Josh Eldridge, saying so long for now from Kiger Stadium in Klamath Falls. Back in a bit. And welcome back to Klamath Falls Falcons baseball on 104.3 and on 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. The Klamath Falls Falcons getting ready for the nightcap tonight as they take on the South Medford Colts here at Kiger Stadium. My name is Josh Eldridge. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Just a couple of minutes away from the second leg of a doubleheader starting this evening. The Falcons took the first one 10-0 and looking for the home sweep against the South Medford Colts. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll introduce you to the starting lineups for both teams as the Falcons take the field on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
The cars we drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
As a parent of a high school athlete, I've given up trying to get pictures of my kid playing sports. It's nearly impossible to take pictures and enjoy the game. There is a solution, though. God's Gifts Photography attends high school sporting events in the Basin to take individual and team action photos at a great price. Search God's Gifts 2 on Facebook to learn more. They'll come and capture your athlete in action, creating those frameable lifelong memories so you can watch and just enjoy the moment. Call 541-281-2206 to get your athlete on their schedule. God's Gifts Photography.
We are ready for baseball here at Kiger Stadium, the nightcap between the Klamath Falls Falcons and the South Medford Colts. Leading things off for South Medford is Randy Patrick. He goes up against Corbin Hamilton on the mound for the Falcons. Corbin making his fourth start of the summer, his ninth overall appearance. As he gets across strike one, the count is even to Randy Patrick. Hamilton has a 4-1 record in 21 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up 15 hits, 1 run, 11 walks, and a team-leading 29 strikeouts. Hamilton has an ERA of 0.32. The only run he's given up on the season was last time out against North Jackson in the 2-1 loss for the Falcons, but looking to get off to a good start today against South Medford as the 1-2 pitch misses outside. After Randy Patrick in the order, it's their shortstop, Liam Edgar, followed by the second baseman, Cole Johannes. The third baseman, Max Ely, bats cleanup, followed by Clayton Saul, the second baseman, hitting fifth. Here's a high fly ball, shallow right field. In is the right fielder, Sims. He will make the catch for the first out of the ball game. After Saul in the order, batting sixth is the pitcher, Gunnar Dale for South Medford. Ryder White, the catcher, batting seventh. Hitting eighth is the left fielder for South Medford, which is Isaiah Thomas. And Grayson Peak, the first baseman, batting ninth. First pitch there called a strike against Liam Edgar. Pitch on the way is fouled straight back. The count is 0-2 to Edgar. Didn't get to see him in the opener today, in which South Medford lost 10-0. But getting his first at-bat here against Corbin Hamilton. The 0-2 is popped foul. Count will remain 0-2. Liam Edgar on the season, batting 174 for South Medford. Edgar will be class of 29 for South Medford. Pitch misses upstairs, count 1-2. Means he'll be a freshman next year after wrapping up his middle school career this past spring. The 1-2 pitch is over the plate, called strike 3. Edgar goes down on strikes for the second out in the first inning.
Third is the second baseman, number 3, Cole Johannes.
Cole Johannes batting third and starting at second base for South Medford in this contest. He, along with so many other of his teammates, hitless in the opening game, as Colin Tacchini pitched a complete 5 innings en route to his 4th win of the summer and helped the Falcons pick up their 20th win on the season. The 0-1 pitch on the way to Johannes is sent out towards second base. Tough ball for Tacchini to get to, but he's able to set his feet and throw and make the out to end the first inning. Down in order go the Colts in the first. Falcons get their first chance coming up next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
the pace and reach of social media,
the information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Bottom of the first inning, still scoreless here on 104.3 and 960 Sports as Gunnar Dale wraps up his warm-up tosses, the right-handed starter for South Medford. Take a look at him in just a moment, but first, the starting 9 for the Klamath Falls Falcons, which is led off by the right fielder Carson Sims. Connor Shively bats second. He starts at shortstop, followed by Jacoby Tacchini, the catcher, hitting third. Colin Tacchini bats cleanup. He's at second base. P.J. Safford, the third baseman, hits fifth. Ian Meyer batting 6th at first base. The pitcher Corbin Hamilton batting 7th. Hitting 8th is Ryan Glidden in center field. And Chase Barrett is in left field, batting 9th for the Falcons. Gunnar Dale making his second start of the summer, his 4th overall appearance this year. He's pitched 8 innings, given up 5 hits, 7 runs, although 5 earned. He's walked 7 and struck out 5. Good for an ERA of 4.37. And again, his first task in the start is Carson Sims. Sims having a good game in the opener today. Again, a game in which the Falcons won 10-0 via the mercy rule. Sims got off to a hot start, but let's see. We got timeout on the field. I think we're all right. Here's the 1-0 to Sims. So he takes that pitch inside. Like I was saying, a hot start to Sims, or for Sims rather, in the opener. Singled and doubled in his first 2 at-bats. But in the 3rd and 4th innings, went down looking on strikes twice. So hoping for better luck here in the nightcap as the 2-0 taken for a knee-high strike. The count is 2-1 against Carson Sims. Came into the day as the team's leader in batting average, .485 on the season. Here's the 2-1. That one's looked at low for a ball, 3-1. Gunnar Dale just wrapped up his freshman campaign with South Medford, the Panthers out of the Southwest Conference in the 6A classification. As Sims will take ball 4 up and in. It actually rolled to the backstop, so Sims maybe thought about stretching that walk into taking second base as well, but instead just stays put over there at first. A leadoff walk delivered to Sims will bring up Connor Shively. Talk about a guy who was off to a hot start in the opener today. Shively continued it all the way throughout. 3 for 4, 3 RBIs. Couple of runs scored for Shively was instrumental in the win earlier today for the Falcons. In fact, his 2 RBI single in the bottom of the 4th inning is what pushed the Falcons into mercy rule territory. Here he hits one the opposite way foul, and the count moves to 0-1 against Connor Shively. And for a guy who, well, pretty much since the trip to Alaska had been struggling to find his way on base, uncharacteristic. It's not like Shively hadn't been squaring up the baseball. He'd been hitting it hard all over the ball field, just right at guys, but was able to get a couple down in the last game and knock in a couple runs for his trouble. That time Shively almost gets hit, but he ducks out of the way, and the count is even now at a ball and a strike to the Falcons shortstop. Jacoby Takini waits on deck, and Carson Sims aboard at first after the leadoff walk. Still just getting started tonight in our nightcap. 81 degrees here from Kiger Stadium. The sun's starting to set a little bit behind us. The 1-1 is a hard ground ball up the middle. Johannes, the second baseman, tries to backhand it and flip onto second, but unable to control it cleanly is the shortstop, Edgar. So that's going to be an error, allowing both runners to be safe. Sims at second and Shively over there at first. And it brings up Jacoby Takini now with 2 men on and nobody out. Hard hit ground ball to Johannes out at second. He tried to backhand it, knocked it down, and then when he tried to flip onto the shortstop, was just unable to receive the short underhand toss cleanly. So, well, there was your error. Error was really on him, unable to come up with the ball cleanly. But regardless, 2 men on, and the first pitch to Jacoby is called strike 1. Takini in the opener today was 2 for 4, couple of base hits, and each time he reached base, the man who would come in and courtesy run for him, being Chase Barrett, came in and scored those runs as he takes strike 2, hard of the plate, and Takini falls behind to the right-hander for South Medford, Gunnar Dale. Second baseman Johannes trying to keep the runner Sims at second, close to the bag. Not much of a lead for Shively off of first as Takini rolls one through the right side of the infield into right field. Sims gets the windmill. He will score. And that will be the first run of the ball game. An RBI single.
The batter, number 33, Colin Takini.
Sims comes in and scores. Shively to second off that RBI base hit. And Colin Takini, a chance now, still with 2 runners on. The first run of the ball game home. The Falcons lead 1-0. Takini, as I previously stated, was the winning pitcher in Game 1 for the Falcons. He'll take the first pitch off the inside part of the plate. The count is 1-0. Shively pitching all 5 innings, only allowing 1 base hit on the mound, and also contributed at the plate mightily. 2 RBI in that contest. Here he sends a line drive into the gap, left center field. He's going to add 1 RBI, maybe 2 here. As 1 run comes in to score, they hold Ryan Douglas at third, the courtesy runner in for Jacoby Takini, but an RBI nonetheless for Colin, as the double knocks in Shively from second. Douglas pulls up at third, and the Falcons out to a quick 2-0 lead in the bottom of the first inning. P.J. Safford looking to keep things moving right along for the Falcons in this opening frame. He also had an RBI in the opener today. A double in the second inning helped get a run across. Here a sharp ground ball to the left side of the infield. The shortstop, Edgar, is up with it. The throw across the diamond is not going to be in time. Now they try to get Takini advancing to third, but they can't. And an RBI infield single for P.J. Safford scored Douglas from third, and an RBI single makes it 3-0 Falcons. Runners will be at the corners still with nobody out. A walk, an error, and 3 straight hits for the Falcons have scored 3 runs in the bottom of the first. And now it's Ian Meyer. Meyer didn't get a chance to getting at bat in the opener today, but with the other customary first baseman Corbin Hamilton getting the start on the mound, Meyer knows his role, and that's to play first base in games like these. You'll also see him start at third base here and there. But a really important role player to this team, looking to add an RBI here. The first pitch to him is called a strike. P.J. Safford delayed steal at second, but no throw. Will wind up in scoring position. Now 2 men ready to come across to score on an Ian Meyer base hit if he's able to get the job done. This season batting .289 for the Klamath Falls Falcons. Here's the pitch from Dale. It's going to miss wide, but the catcher, White, doing a fine job of keeping it in front of him. Count even at a ball and a strike. White is catching. Max Ely at third. Liam Edgar at short. Cole Johannes at second with Grayson Peak at first. Isaiah Thomas in left. Randy Patrick in center. And Clayton Saul in right for South Medford. Line drive center field base hit for Meyer. Takini is in to score. Safford will not come in to score. The throw in is wild. Safford thought about it. But Ian Meyer, aggressive base running, will advance to second on the throw. And another RBI base hit gives the Falcons a 4-0 advantage. And 2 men stay in scoring position now for the Falcons starting pitcher, Corbin Hamilton.
The pitcher, number 34, Corbin Hamilton.
Falcons seeing the ball well here in the first. Already 4 base hits. They've all come in a row, too, as Hamilton lifts the first pitch he sees into foul territory out of play. Count 0-1. Hamilton was 1 for 2 and had a run scored in the opener today. His 1 base hit came in his last at-bat in the 4th inning. That extended his current hitting streak, now up to 17 games. Doesn't want it to stop there, though. We'll keep track of that if Hamilton's able to find a way to knock one in. Takes the 0-1 pitch outside. Count is even now to Corbin. After him in the order, it's Ryan Glidden. Runner at second is Ian Meyer. P.J. Safford aboard at third. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Corbin. Outside part of the plate. Called a strike. Count is 1-2 now to Hamilton. He's had his struggles in 2-strike counts so far this summer. Chokes up on the bat a little bit. And the 1-2 on its way. Hit the opposite way. Staying alive, though, in the at-bat as it drifts foul. Count remains a ball and 2 strikes to Corbin. Was the MVP of the Alaska 529 midseason classic for the Falcons in their runner-up finish a week ago. Here's the 1-2. Misses upstairs. A little over a week ago now, I suppose. Count 2-2 now to Corbin. He stands tall in the right-handed batter's box. Going to have to defend the outside part of the plate. That's where that pitch is, but it bounces off the glove of the catcher. Breaking for home is P.J. Safford, and he will score on the wild pitch. The Falcons lead 5-0. And also advancing to third on the wild pitch is Ian Meyer. Falcons tacking on more here in the first inning of this one, and a 3-2 count to Corbin Hamilton, with a runner standing at third. Hamilton, 19 RBI on the season for him. Here's the full count pitch. Misses inside. Nearly got him, but he scoots out of the way. And he'll take a walk, putting runners at the corners for Ryan Glidden. Ryder White going to come on out and offer signs to his infield here, telling him what to do in a situation where you might see Corbin Hamilton on the move. Still with nobody out in the inning. Again, Sims walked, Shively reached on an error. 4 straight base hits for both of the Takinis, then Safford, then Meyer, and followed it up with that walk from Hamilton. Falcons have had no problem here in the bottom of the first inning, and there goes Hamilton on the first pitch. Called a strike to Glidden. Throw down to try and get Hamilton is not going to be there. And so now there's 2 men in scoring position for Glidden. And looks like a courtesy runner coming out for Corbin will be Hunter Glidden on the base pads. And again, that pitch to Ryan at the plate was called a strike, so he falls behind in the count 0-1. Glidden in the first game today was 1 for 2, had a base hit in the 4th inning and came around to score. Takes a big cut and a miss on the 0-1 pitch, falls behind 0-2. After Ryan Glidden In the Falcons order, it's Chase Barrett. Looking in is Gunnar Dale. Delivers the pitch. It's a high fly ball to left field. Looks playable for Thomas. Has to fight the sun, but makes the catch. Tagging from third is Ian Meyer. He will score, and a sacrifice fly and an RBI gives the Falcons a 6-0 lead. One away now in the inning, and it brings up Chase Barrett. Productive out there for Glidden. For him, picking up RBI number 5 of the summer. And in steps Chase Barrett with the runner at second. That's Hunter Glidden. Hunter Glidden with a pretty aggressive lead off of second. The secondary lead is certainly aggressive as that pitch misses inside to Chase Barrett, 1-0. Barrett, not a guy who got to hit in the opener, but as I said earlier in the inning, he was a courtesy runner for Jacoby Tacchini on multiple occasions and scored a couple of runs in that game. Here's a wild pitch that will allow Hunter Glidden to advance to third, and the count moves to 2-0 to Chase Barrett. Barrett on the season, batting .294. He's played in nearly every game this summer, but this is only his 6th start. Looking to make the most of it, try to collect an RBI. Here's the 2-0. That one misses high, and another one gets to the backstop. Breaking for the plate and scoring is Hunter Glidden, and the Falcons lead 7-0. The bases are empty, and the count is 3-0 to Chase Barrett. Everything coming up Falcons here in the first inning. Every break going their way thus far. If there's any silver lining, at least Dale doesn't have any runners on base, but a 3-0 pitch that misses upstairs will eliminate that possibility as a walk delivered to Barrett will bring back up the top of the order in Carson Sims. Visit from the South Medford coach coming up out of the dugout. See if that winds up being it for Gunnar Dale. And he does give the ball up. Looks like Max Ely, the third baseman, will come in and throw for South Medford. We'll see if there are any other changes coming up in just a moment as the Falcons out to a commanding 7-0 lead here in the bottom of the first inning. Back after this on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Time to reclaim your health and your autonomy. At Heartfelt OBGYN, they focus on you. Their evidence-based approach to care means fewer office visits and a targeted treatment plan to directly address your specific needs. They believe in solutions for their patients, not the industry's profit margin. The providers at Heartfelt OBGYN are committed to serving the community and giving back to the basin. Find them at heartfeltobgyn.com. Heartfelt, because you deserve to be in control of your body and your informed choices.
At Eisler Group, they are confident that their tax and accounting professionals are experienced and trained like no one else. From individual, corporate, partnership, estate, trust, Eisler Group stands ready to help you with all of your financial, tax, and accounting needs. They have been in Klamath Falls for nearly 60 years, raising their families here and being part of the community. The Eisler Group can be found at eislerkf.com. That's ISLERKF.com. eislerkf.com.
Well, after facing 9 batters and surrendering 7 runs, South Medford has a new pitcher out there. It's Max Ely. The right-hander for the Colts is making his 8th appearance of the summer, his 2nd in relief this year. 19 1/3 innings pitched. He's given up 22 hits, 26 runs, although just 13 of them earned. 9 walks against 13 strikeouts, an ERA of 4.7 for Max Ely. It's the top of the order for the Klamath Falls Falcons. And with Chase Barrett aboard at first, we'll see Colby Medeiros batting in the leadoff spot for the Falcons. Medeiros, not a guy who gets a ton of opportunities at the plate. He will take strike 1. Medeiros is only taking his 7th at-bat of the summer. That's second fewest on the team. He's primarily gotten his playing time on the mound this year. It's the 0-1 pitch to Medeiros is swung on and missed. The count is 0-2. Medeiros on the mound this year has pitched 7 times and accrued an ERA right about 8.5 and a 1-2 record. He's pitched 16 1/3 innings for the Falcons. Move over to first, and back safely is Chase Barrett. There's 1 out in the inning, and Connor Shively is due up next for the Falcons. The 0-2 pitch on the way to Medeiros, ripped down the third base line, and it bounces off of Dale, the third baseman, and it eats him up as he tries to recover, and an error will allow Medeiros to reach base. Here comes Connor Shively. Shively also reached on an error his last time up. He came around to score earlier this inning. 2 men on, 1 man out. The Falcons lead 7-0 here in the bottom of the first inning. Pitch on the way to Shively, misses below the knees. The count is 1-0. Shively batting .449 this summer for the Falcons. Seen the ball well today. The 1-0 pitch, outside corner to the lefty, called a strike. Count is even at 1. After Shively in the order for the Falcons, it's Jacoby Tacchini. Colby Medeiros aboard at first. Chase Barrett aboard at second. And here's the offering. It's a line drive into center field, settles down for a base hit. Waving in Chase Barrett. The throw in from center field is a good one, but Barrett dives in safely. The score now 8-0 Falcons after the RBI single for Connor Shively. Add another one to his season total. Shively now up to 37 RBI on the summer. By the way, Medeiros advancing to second base on that hit. Shively, of course, on at first, and here's Jacoby Tacchini. Still with just 1 out in the inning. Pitch on the way from Max Ely. He's ripped towards the Falcons dugout. Look out. Pimley ducking out of the way. Max Price. Is that Max Price in there? I think that's Hunter Glynn who had to duck out of the way as well. It's an 0-1 count to Jacoby Tacchini. And Ely comes set. Good lead off a second for Medeiros. Not much for Shively at first. Turn around, they try to pick Medeiros off, but the second baseman, Johannes, not really in any position to apply the tag, was well off the base to the right side of it. And so, mostly just to keep Medeiros thinking about him, I think, but still an equally aggressive lead the next time out. Ely clocks it before delivering the 0-1 pitch, a pitch that misses low and away. Count is even now at a ball and a strike to the right-handed hitting catcher for the Klamath Falls Falcons, Jacoby Tacchini. Already an RBI single in this inning. And his courtesy runner came around to score as well. The 1-1, Tacchini takes an inside fastball for a strike right around the letters. Count moves to 1-2. On deck after Jacoby Tacchini is Colin Tacchini. Breeze blowing in a little bit from center field. The wind changes direction on a dime here at Kiger Stadium. Has been blown out to the north. Has been blowing in from the west. Just kind of swirls around out there in center field. The 1-2 is going to hit Tacchini. And that will load the bases. Moving Medeiros to third. Shively to second. And, of course, Jacoby there at first. A courtesy runner comes out. Is Ryan Douglas. So bases loaded for the cleanup hitter, Colin Tacchini. He's been a guy who loves this spot so far this season. Already an RBI for him in this contest. He had 2 RBI in the opener today. On the season, he has the second most runs batted in on the team. He'll take outside for ball 1. Colin Tacchini sent a double to the left center field gap earlier this inning. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swings and misses at it. The count even now. Ball and a strike to the second baseman for the Falcons. Colin on the season batting .320 and has 31 RBI. Set is Ely. delivers the 1-1. Takini chases the high fastball, falls behind 1-2. After Colin in the order, it's P.J. Safford. Bases loaded for Colin as he rears his hands back in a 2-strike count. Ely will step off before delivering the pitch, but quickly back on the rubber. Getting the sign from his catcher White before coming set. Here's the pitch. And it's swung on and missed. Takini down on strikes, chasing that heater again. And that will be the second out in the first inning. It brings up P.J. Safford. Safford singled in a run earlier this inning. He also came around to score himself earlier. Now it's his turn to bat with the bases loaded. Trying to put up double digits potentially for the Falcons here in the first inning off a base hit. Dropping in a breaking ball for a strike is Ely. The count is 0-1. Again, the Falcons up 8-0 here in the bottom of the first inning. They've done it on only 5 base hits. A couple of errors from South Medford has helped him out, and some free passes as well. Safford goes after the inside fastball, a little bit late on that swing, and falls behind 0-2. 3 walks this inning and a hit batter has helped the Falcons out, along with those 5 hits to score 8 runs. But now Safford down in the count 0-2 with the bases loaded. And the pitch. Looked at outside for a ball, 1-2. The Falcons left the bases loaded in the first inning of the opener today, too, although they only scored 2 runs in the first inning of the first game today. Needed 3 hits, and no errors helped him out there, but in danger of leaving him loaded again. Here's the 1-2 to Safford. It's poked the opposite way, but winds up foul, out of play. Count remains a ball and 2 strikes. Medeiros at third, Shively at second, and Douglas at first. P.J. Safford settling back into the right-handed batter's box in a 1-2 count. Set is Ely. And here's the delivery. Slow roller out towards second. Johannes charging. Throw on to first. Is going to short hop the first baseman, and Safford is safe. A run scores on the play, making it 9-0 Falcons as Safford reaching on the error. The bases remain loaded. Medeiros scores. Shively to third. Douglas to second. And an error extends the inning. The third error this inning for South Medford. They can't get out of this inning soon enough. As Ian Meyer steps in now at the bases loaded. First pitch winds up behind him. Runner breaks for the plate, and Shively will score. The Falcons up 10-0 here in the first inning. Advancing to third there is Douglas. Safford now up to second. So 2 men remain in scoring position for Meyer, who's already got 1 RBI today. He singled and scored in the first, or earlier here in the first inning, as he takes strike 1 on the outside. Count is even now to the first baseman for the Falcons. It's been quite a long first inning here for the Falcons. Meyer is the 15th batter this inning. It's the 1-1 swung on and missed, 1-2. Gotta wonder how Corbin Hamilton is holding up, the pitcher for the Falcons. You spend all that time getting warm before the game. I'm sure he'd like to work with 10 runs of support, but all that time in the dugout, wonder how that's going to have affected him coming back the next half inning as Meyer fights off the 1-2 pitch and stays alive in the at-bat. If the inning continues, Corbin is in the on-deck circle, or he's scheduled to be. There he is. But a 1-2 pitch on the way to Ian Meyer. Here it comes. Swung on and missed, and that will end the first inning. But the Falcons score 10 runs on 5 hits. They leave a couple runners stranded. They carry a 10-0 lead to the top of the second inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
We drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys, and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
Josh Eldridge back with you on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com as we get set for the top of the second inning. The Klamath Falls Falcons with a huge lead, up 10-0 against the South Medford Colts in the nightcap of an Area 4 doubleheader. Falcons only scored 10 runs in the entirety of Game 1. Have already accomplished that feat after just one inning in this one. Now it's up to Corbin Hamilton to try to keep things right where they are, with the Falcons firmly in control. Max Ely due up first. The first pitch is going to miss upstairs. Must have been high. The count is 1-0. After Ely, it is, I believe it is Clayton Saul, potentially. Got my lineup card mixed up here. Clayton Saul and Gunnar Dale is due up next. He is in the hole right now to start the inning. The 2-0 pitch is finally going to be called a strike. The count is 2-1. Hamilton working from the windup. The 2-1 pitch gets across the slider. Count is even now. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hamilton's slider, he got confident in it to throw it any count. And here's the pitch. That one's hit in the air towards the right side of the infield. Ian Meyer comes in and makes the catch on the run. Nice job there to record the out in the second inning.
Right fielder, number 12, Clayton Saul.
So here's Clayton Saul, the right fielder for the Colts. Saul on the season. So we get ready for the first pitch from him first, or to him rather, as that one finds the zone for a strike right down Main Street. 0-1. The count to Clayton Saul. Bats .333 this season for South Medford. That pitch misses wide. Count is even. Saul scored 7 runs this year, and he's got 4 RBI. A couple of doubles on the ledger for him. But he's 5 for his first 15 at the plate this summer. He takes ball 2 and readies for the 2-1 pitch. That's swung on and missed. Hamilton using the fastball that time to even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Looks in, gets the sign from Takini and delivers the 2-2. Goes off speed. It's lifted into the air left field. Barrett back a couple of steps, makes the catch, and that's the second out in the second inning. And here is the former pitcher turned third baseman for South Medford. It's Gunnar Dale. I said Dale was the starting pitcher in the ball game for South Medford. Was unable to make it out of the first inning as he watches ball 1 miss below the knees. Can give you the final line score on him, although it's not too friendly. As the 1-0 pitch misses outside. No, pardon me, that was across the outside part of the plate. Count is even now at a ball and a strike. Dale exited the game after only recording 1 out, giving up 4 hits, 6 earned runs, and he walked 3. He faced 9 batters, and that was seemingly it for him. Count is a ball and 2 strikes after he fouls off the 1-1 pitch. Now here comes Hamilton. Hit in the air, left side, in foul territory. Could be playable for Safford, who makes the catch near the Falcons' dugout. And that will retire this side. The Colts down in order in the second. The Falcons carry a 10-0 lead to the bottom half on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
It's the bottom of the second inning, and the Klamath Falls Falcons lead 10-0. Listening on 104.3 and 960 Sports. Watching on mybasin.com. Glad that you're with us tonight, however you might be receiving our coverage live from Kiger Stadium here in Klamath Falls. My name is Josh Eldridge. Thank you again for joining us tonight. Falcons are back in action tomorrow on the road in Eugene. And then in Salem on the following afternoon, we'll be with you all season long, as we have been thus far. First pitch to Corbin Hamilton to start the bottom of the second inning is a fastball that Hamilton waves and misses at. Count is 0-1. It's Hamilton, Glidden, and Barrett due up this inning. That's the bottom third of the order for the Falcons as the 0-1 pitch misses away. Count is 1-1. Hamilton walked and scored in the big 10-run first inning for the Falcons. Pitch misses outside. Count is 2-1. Good location for a fastball from Max Ely, but getting a little bit squeezed there as Hamilton gets ahead. 2-1 popped up out of play on the right side. Count is even now for Hamilton. Comes in batting a clean .400. Said this in the opening game, but you may have missed it. Hamilton's been on a heater as of late. The 2-2. He looks at it for strike three. Still want to finish the thought about Hamilton, though, who's seen his batting average climb nearly 150 points in the last about 2 weeks of the season. And despite going down on strikes there looking, he's been instrumental in not only the Falcons' run in Alaska, picking up an MVP there, but in keeping the Falcons in the couple of league games they've played since coming back from the 49th state. So even though he goes down there, brings up Ryan Glidden, who takes first pitch up and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Glidden had a sacrifice fly and an RBI his last time around. Now looking to start a rally for the Falcons, who are up comfortably here in the bottom of the second. The pitch to Glidden is fouled straight back. The count is even now at a ball and a strike. Chase Barrett is on deck for the Falcons. It's been quite a nice crowd here at Kiger Stadium tonight, from what I understand. Quite a few folks down in the outside patio sections down either foul line as the 1-1 pitch to Glidden swung on and missed, 1-2. I was able to peek my head downstairs to the grandstand for just a moment before first pitch of the opener. It looked like there was quite a few folks down there, which is always great to see. Love to see the attendance numbers swell up a bit as we inch towards the final few home games of the season. Like I said, the Falcons have some road games coming up later on this week, as the 1-2 is going to miss outside to Glidden. Count is even. Falcons will return home to Kiger Stadium on the 11th. They'll play North Jackson, the Royals, in a league doubleheader starting at 5:30. As the pitch to Glidden misses below the knees. Count 3-2 to him. Another home date against Phoenix will be played here at Kiger Stadium on Sunday. It's at 1:30. And then they'll host Roseburg for a non-league game on the 14th. As Glidden goes down on strikes, chasing that one out of the zone for the second out in the second inning. Back-to-back Ks for Max Ely to start this inning for him. Brings up Chase Barrett. That game on the 14th is the last home game for the Klamath Falls Falcons, barring any other shifts in the schedule, which can happen even this late in the year. We've already seen a couple of games get moved around this last week or so. A couple of games that had been scheduled against the Medford Mustangs have been canceled and replaced with this upcoming trip to the Willamette Valley that we've got starting tomorrow. The count is 1-0 to Chase Barrett. He walked his first time around. The 1-0 will miss upstairs, 2-0. Falcons finished the season on July 15th against North Medford, then July 18th against Central Point. The final two league doubleheaders are away from home for the Falcons before the Single-A state tournament, which is at Eagle Point High School, runs July 23rd through the 27th. Not a guarantee yet that the Falcons will be there. They are in second place right now in the league. The 2-1 pitch nearly came in and got Barrett. The count moves to 3-1. Second place right now in the league, Central Point 13-1 in area play. Our Falcons are 10-2. So still got some ground to gain on those Comets as Chase Barrett works a walk with 2 outs in the second inning, bringing us back to the top of the order in Colby Medeiros. Medeiros reached on an error and came around to score his last time. And that was as a pinch hitter in the first inning, hitting in the leadoff spot, which was initially filled by Carson Sims. Sims walked and scored in his only plate appearance of the ball game thus far. As the first pitch to Medeiros missed in the dirt, the count 1-0. Taking a lead off of first is Chase Barrett. Set on the hill is Ely. The 1-0 pitch will find the outside corner, and the count is even to Medeiros, 1-1. After Colby in the order, should be Connor Shively. Yeah, there he is in the on-deck circle. Ely set with the 1-1, and the pitch to Medeiros. Pitch misses outside. Count is 2-1. Medeiros, the lone Bonanza Antler on this Falcons team. Of course, there was that fire that started out near the Bonanza area earlier today. I'm sure you keep your eyes on the evacuation notices and things of that nature. Saw that there was a couple of areas where folks were needing to get up and ready to go level 3. If you haven't seen the news yet, be sure you keep your eyes on mybasin.com. Got your fire updates and all the things that you might need there. Not only sports there on mybasin.com, but everything you might need as well. News, local events going on. They keep you updated right there on mybasin.com. As Medeiros fouls off the 3-1 pitch, the count is full now, 3-2. 2 out and a runner at first in a 10-0 ball game. The Falcons lead in the bottom of the second inning. Ely steps off, dusts off the rubber before settling in for the 3-2 out there. Medeiros keeping tall in the batter's box. Here's the full count offering. I believe he fouled it off. Must have got a piece of it. Didn't hear the ring of the bat, but must have been the case. This count remains 3-2. Thought it might have been dropped third strike and just blew right over the catcher's mitt, but here we go. We'll try again. 3-2. Pitch to Medeiros. Barrett on the move, and Medeiros takes strike 3, and that will end the inning. Falcons take a 10-0 lead to the top of the third next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Getting set for the top of the third inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com. A 10-0 ball game in which the Klamath Falls Falcons lead the South Medford Colts, and a couple of changes for the Falcons on defense to get this inning started. Corbin Hamilton's still on the mound, but around him, some things have changed. We'll reset the whole defense for you with Jacoby Takini catching, P.J. Safford at third, Connor Shively at short, Colby Madero's out at second, Ian Meyer at first. In the outfield from left to right, it's Chase Barrett, Ryan Glidden, and Hunter Glidden. The first pitch gets across to Ryder White. The count is 0-1 as Hamilton uses the fastball to get ahead of the South Medford catcher. The 0-1 is grounded over towards first, ricochets off the leg of Meyer and into right field. Reaching base safely there was Ryder White on the error. And it will bring up Isaiah Thomas. And now into run for the catcher is Oliver Ackley. The first base runner for South Medford comes here to lead off the third inning. So now it's Isaiah Thomas. First pitch to Thomas, misses below his knees. The count is 1-0. Thomas getting his first look at Corbin Hamilton in this game. On the season, Thomas bats .231. The 1-0 pitch misses low. Count is 2-0. Thomas pitched a couple of middle innings in the game earlier in which the Falcons won 10-0, although they needed 4 innings to put up a 10 spot in that game. They did it here in the very first inning. Now, they were kept scoreless in the second. And now after a leadoff base runner and a 3-0 count to Isaiah Thomas, the Colts not trying to go away easy. Their coaching staff trying to instill some life into him these last couple of innings. And, well, if you take putting up a scoreless bottom of the second as any indication, the Colts trying to turn things around here. Not just going to roll over despite being down by a bundle nearing the halfway point of the ball game. And a walk worked by Thomas puts 2 men on now with no one out. And it's Grayson Peak. Chance to bat with runner in scoring position. Peak so far on the season is batting .238. He's got 7 RBI, though, which is good for second most on the ball club. Pitch on the way from Hamilton. Goes with the fastball to get ahead. The count is 0-1 as Hamilton places it just below the belt on the outside corner. Getting ahead of the first baseman for South Medford. The lineup card turns over next for the Colts with Randy Patrick on deck. Hamilton delivers the pitch. Peak shows bunt and lays it down in front of the mound. Hamilton is up with it. He'll throw on to first for the out, but both runners advance. It's Ackley to third and Thomas to second. So both men now in scoring position with 1 out for the top of the order after the sacrifice bunt for Grayson Peak. Patrick 0 for 1 in the contest today. He flew out to right field to start the ball game. Hamilton now able to work out of the windup with the 2 runners in scoring position. First pitch is chopped foul down the third base side. Count is 0-1. Patrick on the season, batting .267. Hitting leadoff here, but hit cleanup in the opener today against the Falcons. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Hamilton misses low there. The count is even now at 1-1. He didn't pick up a hit. He grounded out and struck out in 2 at-bats against Colin Takini. 1-1 on the way from Corbin Hamilton to the center fielder for South Medford. Taken for a strike, again using the outside part of the zone against the right-handed hitter. That's where Hamilton likes to live, against those right-handers, and so far has found it nicely. In a bit of trouble, though, with 2 men in scoring position and just 1 man out. Trying to set down Patrick on strikes would go a long way as he readies to deliver the 1-2. The pitch is going to miss in the dirt. Takini doing a nice job of knocking it down. The All-State catcher showing everybody why. Count remains 2-2, keeping the runners there. Important for Jacoby behind the dish. On deck is Liam Edgar for South Medford. 2-2. Looked at for strike three. Another fastball outside. Got Patrick looking. 2 gone now in the third inning. Brings up Liam Edgar. He was a strikeout victim back in the first inning. The shortstop for South Medford, looking to come up in a big spot for his guys. Again, 2 men in scoring position. It's really the best chance all day that South Medford has had at scoring. First pitch fouled back. The count is 0-1. Like I said, they were shut out in the opener today. They only got runners into scoring position 1 time in the ball game, and it was in the deciding 5th inning. This pitch bounces to Takini at the plate. Count 1-1. In that inning, they stranded runners at second and third. But before that, it had been almost non-existent offensively for the Colts. The 1-1 pitch misses inside. Count is 2-1 to Edgar. But knocking on the door of scoring their first run of the day here with Cole Johannes on deck if the inning continues. As Hamilton delivers the 2-1. Swung on and missed. Count is even now at 2-2 to Edgar. On the season, Edgar batting .174. Doesn't strike out a ton, but Hamilton has struck him out once already. Make it twice as he goes down looking on the outside slider, and that will end the third inning. Couple of runners stranded in scoring position for South Medford. They trail the Falcons 10-0 as we go to the bottom of the third on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been away forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place home. And then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
Getting set for the bottom of the third inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com. A new pitcher on the mound for South Medford will be Monty Pepper. Take a look at him in just a moment as Max Ely stays in the ball game. The former pitcher has moved over to first. It'll be Connor Shively, Jacoby Takini, and Hunter Glidden do up this half inning for the Klamath Falls Falcons. They lead 10-0. First pitch on the way to Shively. Misses inside. The count is 1-0. So far in the ball game, Shively's reached base twice, but he's 1 for 2. Reached on an error in the first inning. Reached again in the first inning on an RBI single. Now batting here in the third. It's a 1-1 count. That's fouled off out of the right hand of Montgomery Pepper. The count is 1-2. Taking a look at Pepper on the season, making his 7th appearance for South Medford and his 5th in relief. The 1-2 pitch misses inside. Count even now at 2-2. Pepper's pitched 10 2/3 innings so far this summer. He's given up 12 hits, 14 runs, 10 earned. He's walked 10 and struck out 7. I'll make it 8 as Down goes Shively on strikes to open up the third frame for the Falcons. Brings up Jacoby Takini just to finish the look on Pepper. Comes into the ball game with an ERA of about 6.5. But recording the out against Shively there is a good first step for him. As he dials up a fastball upstairs, gets Takini to swing and miss. The count is 0-1. Pepper will be a senior next year for the South Medford Panthers. Misses inside to Takini there. The count is 1-1. South Medford during the prep season made quite the run at things, finishing in a tie in the Southwest Conference, 10-8 in conference play. It was good enough to earn the 18th seed in the 32-team 6A state playoffs. A huge bracket for the big schools, not like the 16-team bracket we're used to in the 4A classification for mostly these Henley guys and KU as well. Jacoby Takini is in a 2-2 count at the plate against Pepper. The pitch is a line drive into left field, down for a base hit. And Jacoby Takini now 2 for 2 on the ball game. And I believe we'll have a courtesy runner come out for Jacoby. And here he comes. It's Hayden Poor. So Poor up over there at first, running in for Jacoby. And it brings up Hunter Glidden, getting his first at-bat of the day. Glidden came in as a defensive replacement, replacing Colin Takini in this one. Takini exits the game after going 1 for 2 with an RBI double back in the first inning. Here Hunter Glidden swings and misses the first pitch, falls behind 0-1. I want to finish my thought, though, about South Medford. Like I said, an 18 seed coming into the 6A playoffs. They upset the 15 seed 3-2 in the opening round. Not only that, they upset the number 2 seed in the next round. They beat West Lynn 4-1. Delivery on the way, the 0-2 to Hunter Glidden. Waves and misses at that one. Trying to get the back door down at first to Poor, but he's back safely. There are 2 gone in the third inning, and it brings up P.J. Safford. Now that upset of West Lynn is where South Medford's bid for a state championship would end. Making it to the quarterfinals, but losing to McMinnville, the 7 seed, 5-4. It took McMinnville extra innings to down the Panthers, but still a very impressive run to make it that far in the state tournament. They were the highest seed to, or I suppose the lowest seed, rather, to make the quarterfinal. The 1-0 pitch to Safford, hit the opposite way into right field. Could be trouble, but the right fielder, Saul, comes in and makes the catch to end the inning. Falcons get a base hit, but they leave them stranded. They still lead 10-0 as we go to the top of the fourth on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
Getting set for the top of the fourth inning in a 10-0 ball game. Checking the line scores. The Klamath Falls Falcons have scored their 10 runs on 6 hits. They've committed 1 error, and they have left 4 runners on base so far. For South Medford, still looking for their first hit. They've committed 3 errors, and they've left 2 runners on base. Corbin Hamilton continuing to work out there for the Falcons. He'll go through 3, 4, 5 to get this top of the fourth inning started. That's Cole Johannes, Max Ely, and Clayton Saul. Johannes stepping in, left-handed batter's box, 0 for 1 today. Here's the pitch. Popped up out of play left side. Count moves to 0-1. Johannes grounded out to second in the first at-bat back in the first inning. Check in on the pitch count for Corbin Hamilton here in just a moment as he delivers the 0-1. It is swung on and missed. Count moves to 0-2. Hamilton is about to deliver his 47th pitch here in the 0-2 count. Here it comes. It is looked at for ball one. Just missed off the outside. Good location in a 2-strike count to Cole Johannes. Could be setting him up for something inside after going soft away. Here's the 1-2 pitch. There's the inside heat, but it misses inside. And the count is 2-2. Johannes, class of 27 with South Medford. He'll be a junior next season. It's the 2-2. Fouled off. Count remains. Again, a younger group for this South Medford Colts team. The majority of their guys are elevating juniors next year. They've only got three who will be seniors next season, much like the Falcons, who are made up majority of class of 27 and 28 guys. Here's a bouncing ball down the first base side. Meyer fields it, but in foul territory, and the count will remain 2-2. Talked a little bit about what's up next for the Falcons. Well, for South Medford, they'll have tomorrow off. They've got a nice little homestand coming up as they'll play 4 straight games at South Medford High School. First, a doubleheader against Grants Pass. The 2-2 is swung on and missed. Johannes down on strikes for the first out in the 4th inning. That's 3 straight strikeouts for Hamilton dating back to last inning. And 4 for the ball game. And it brings up Max Ely with 1 out in the top of the 4th inning. So after that doubleheader for South Medford against Grants Pass on the 10th, they'll have the 11th off before taking on Central Point in a doubleheader on the 12th. That game, like I said, will also be played at home for South Medford. They'll take on North Jackson on the 15th, which is Tuesday of next week. That'll be on the road at Eagle Point High School as the 1-0 pitch is looked at for a strike. Count is even to Max Ely. South Medford wraps up their regular season against Siskiyou, 17U team from Northern California, and that is on Saturday the 19th. Count 2 balls and a strike to Max Ely. He's 0 for 1 in the game. Popped out to first base back in the 2nd inning. Checks his swing on the 2-1. Yes, he did go around. Count is 2-2 now to Ely with Clayton Saul on deck. Ely, another one of those guys who's class of 27, watches an outside fastball miss, and the count is full. I think Hamilton thought he had strike 3 on the heater outside, but instead he'll have to refocus as the count is full to the Colts third baseman. Now first baseman. As that pitch misses wide, and the walk is worked by Max Ely. Second walk surrendered by Hamilton this ball game. And this will trigger Coach Craig Connor to come on out of the Falcons dugout. And as he does, want to remind you that today's broadcast is brought to you by Gino's Cafe on East Main Street. Open every morning at 6:30, serving their famous breakfast burritos. Those are served all day long, along with their other menu items like burgers, monthly specials, and Italian favorites. You can order online at ilovegenos.com or have it brought right to you on DoorDash. And also want to highlight some of the Falcons sponsors. You might see them lining the outfield fence. Barney's Family Market, Basin Beltel and Basin Alarm, Bogate Constructions. Let's see, Ed Staub & Sons, Fast Break of Oregon, got their new sign out there. Henris Roofing, Easy Growing, Hall Motors, the Eisler Group, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Quality Electric. That's just to name a few of the folks who've stepped up to help the Falcons in the 2025 campaign. A new pitcher will be taking over for the Falcons. It'll be Hayden Poore. We'll give him time to warm up. We'll be back after this. The Falcons lead 10-0 in the top of the 4th inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
the innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
The pace and reach of social media,
The information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
Sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Well, a full new battery for the Klamath Falls Falcons here in the top of the fourth inning. Not only do we get a new pitcher in the right-hander Hayden Poor, but also Carson Pimley getting some work behind the dish for the Falcons. Those are the only changes so far, but will give us an opportunity to look at Hayden Poor on the mound this season, making his 8th appearance and his 2nd in relief. Hayden Poor has pitched 29 1/3 innings. He's given up 28 hits, 9 runs, 7 of them earned. He's walked 13 and struck out 25, all for an ERA of 1.67 and a win-loss record of 5-1. Not in line for a win right now, although I suppose South Medford could come along here in the middle part of the ball game, but Hayden Poor just looking to get some work in and hopefully finish out this game on the hill for the Falcons. He started the at-bat out with strike 1 to Clayton Saul. Then he gets strike 2 swinging. They try to go backdoor against Max Ely down at first. Tag applied. It was close, but Ely is back safely. He walked, and that was Hamilton's last battery face, so can't quite close the book on Corbin all just yet. But Hayden Poor, who's, I've said it once, I'll say it again, he's been impressive this summer for the Falcons. That sub-2 ERA, now pushing 30 innings pitched, has been very impressive to watch this year. The 0-2 is swung on and missed. Gets Saul chasing the outside breaking ball for the second out in the 4th inning. And it will bring up Gunnar Dale. Dale started the game as the pitcher, now patrols third base for the Colts. He's 0 for 1 in the contest, popped out in foul territory in the 2nd inning. Hayden Poor comes set, and the delivery. Pitch called a strike on the outside corner. Nice job by Carson Pimley to frame that one up nicely for the home plate umpire. Taking strike 1 for Hayden Poor. Checks on the runner at first before coming set does Hayden, and delivers the 0-1 pitch, which is fouled back. Count moves now to 0-2. On deck is Ryder White for South Medford if the inning continues. Poor looking in, getting the sign from Pimley. Again, checks the runner before coming set and delivers. The 0-2 is grounded to third in foul territory. Safford sliding for it. But a foul ball. Count remains 0-2. Sun setting here at Kiger Stadium. Unfortunately, can't see the near full moon we've got straight away center field for those of you watching on mybasin.com. But a beautiful sight as night falls here in Klamath Falls. The 0-2 lifted out behind second base. Medeiros back a couple of steps, but he brings it in, and that will retire the side. One runner left on for South Medford, but that's all they'll get as they go to the bottom of the 4th, trailing the Falcons 10-0 on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
To reclaim your health and your autonomy. At Heartfelt OBGYN, they focus on you. Their evidence-based approach to care means fewer office visits and a targeted treatment plan to directly address your specific needs. They believe in solutions for their patients, not the industry's profit margin. The providers at Heartfelt OBGYN are committed to serving the community and giving back to the basin. Find them at heartfeltobgyn.com. Heartfelt, because you deserve to be in control of your body and your informed choices.
At Eisler Group, they are confident that their tax and accounting professionals are experienced and trained like no one else. From individual, corporate, partnership, estate, trust, Eisler Group stands ready to help you with all of your financial, tax, and accounting needs. They have been in Klamath Falls for nearly 60 years, raising their families here and being part of the community. The Eisler Group can be found at eislerkf.com. That's ISLERKF.com. eislerkf.com.
Bottom of the fourth inning, and the Klamath Falls Falcons lead the South Medford Colts 10-0. Falcons, who are in mercy rule territory right now, headed to the top of the fifth, would certainly like to add some insurance to make sure they can secure that mercy rule victory, save some pitching. Hayden Poore was able to get the Falcons out of the last half inning, coming in relief of Corbin Hamilton. I'm sure the Falcons would like to not have to go too much deeper into their pitching arsenal here against South Medford, if they can help it. And so that's why it's important to try to add some insurance here, leading off with the first baseman, Ian Meyer. And the delivery to Ian will miss off the plate away. The count is 1-0. Meyer so far in the ball game is 1 for 2. He singled and scored, knocked in a run as well in the first inning. He also struck out in the first inning as he takes a pitch up and away there. The count is 2-0 to Ian. Monty Pepper working in his second inning of relief for South Medford. Produces a swing and a miss on the 2-0 against Meyer. Count moves to 2-1. Came in to replace Max Ely on the mound. It's the 2-1 pitch. It's hit in the air, right side foul. Count moves to 2-2. Max Ely exited the game after an inning and two-thirds pitched. Only gave up one hit, but 2 unearned runs came across on his ledger. He struck out 5 against 1 walk. But it was a couple of errors. And those 2 base hits allowed the Falcons to score those 2 unearned runs. Gunnar Dale would be on the hook for the loss for South Medford, who gave up the first 6 runs of the ball game. As that pitch came upstairs and it hit Meyer in the helmet. Yikes, that came up real high and tight, but Meyer gave thumbs up. He looks to be okay. That could have been real scary. Glad that Meyer's okay down there at first. Doesn't even have the chin flap. That's why I wore one when I played in high school. When I played in California, they made you have the chin strap in high school. But thank goodness Meyer's okay, as it brings up Hayden Poore with a runner aboard at first and nobody out. Poore fouls off the first pitch, and the count is 0-1. Poore hasn't gotten a ton of at-bats this season. You know, I said Medeiros earlier had the second fewest. Well, Poore has the fewest. That pitch misses outside to him. The count is even 1-1. This will only be his 5th at-bat of the summer, but he is 2 for his first 4, batting .500 on the campaign so far for Hayden. The 1-1 pitch is going to miss inside. Had to bend out of the way for that one, and the count is 2-1. Poor batting in place here of Corbin Hamilton, who exits the game after going 0 for 1, which unfortunately for Corbin, unless he finds a way to get reinserted into the ball game, would end his hitting streak. It's a deep fly ball out of play. And the count is 2-2. Hamilton's hitting streak would end at 17 games. After Poore in the order, it's Ryan Glidden. Pepper looking in, getting the sign from White, and comes set. Not much of a lead for Meyer off of first, but Pepper checking on him anyway. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Misses up and away to Poore, and the count runs full now, 3-2. Poore has worked one walk so far this season. He's yet to strike out. So here's the 3-2. And there's his first strikeout of the season as he goes down swinging for the first out in the fourth inning. Ryan Glidden getting ready to step in now. He struck out once already today. That was back in the second inning. But he also added a sacrifice fly with an RBI back in the first to help the Falcons in their 10-run first inning. It's been all of their offense thus far as the South Medford pitching staff has figured out a way to silence the bats of the Falcons. Now, granted, Falcons have made some substitutions as a lot of the guys who did some of the heavy lifting in the first inning have now been subbed out of the game as that pitch is taken for a strike on the outside corner to Glidden. Now, Glidden was in that bunch who was helpful in that first inning, but I look at guys like Takini who had an RBI double, Jacoby Takini who had an RBI single in that inning. Corbin Hamilton came around to score, so Ryan Glidden chases a fastball out of the zone, goes down on strike 3. 2 away now in the bottom of the fourth. But also say good to get guys at bats in a game like this where you score 10 runs in the first. You can afford to have guys who don't often get a chance to swing as much get a chance here in a league game against South Medford. Chase Barrett, who's walked twice today, bats here in the bottom of the fourth with a runner on and 2 away. The first pitch to him misses outside, and the count is 1-0. After Barrett, the lineup card turns over for the Falcons as Colby Medeiros waits on deck. After Meyer was hit by a pitch, it's been back-to-back strikeouts for Monty Pepper. The 1-0 is going to get by the catcher White, and Meyer will advance to second base. Count will be 2-0 after the wild pitch delivered to Chase Barrett. Looks to be a right-hander moving around in the South Medford bullpen over there. Sure, the Colts hoping they don't have to use him if Monty Pepper can try to get out of this inning, although he falls behind Chase Barrett 3-0. Second baseman Johannes is holding the runner over there at second. That's Meyer. The count is 3-0, home to Chase Barrett. Pitch bounces to the plate. Barrett works a walk for the third consecutive at-bat for him today. Puts 2 men on, still with 2 outs for Colby Medeiros. Medeiros struck out his last time up. That was in the second inning. Made a nice play defensively in the last half inning. A line drive hit to him. Backpedaling into right field to make a catch. He'll take strike 1 here and falls behind against Monty Pepper. Pepper comes set. Thought he might have twitched his shoulders a little bit after coming set, but he'll deliver ball 1 instead. Count is even. After Medeiros in the order, it's Connor Shively. The 1-1 on the way to Colby. It's looked at for a strike. Count moves to 1-2. That fastball just grazing the black on the outside. Now Medeiros chokes up a little bit, tall in the right-handed batter's box. Medeiros right around 6'1", fouls off the 1-2 pitch. Talked about plenty of other guys who are multi-sport athletes on the Falcons this year. Medeiros, also a basketball player for the Bonanza Antlers. They made the state playoffs this year. It was a lot of fun to watch them play. The 1-2 misses high to Medeiros. He has to duck out of the way of it, and it gets the backstop. Both runners advance. Count is 2-2, and Medeiros bats now with 2 men in scoring position. At second is Barrett. At third is Meyer. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Medeiros, and the delivery from Monty Pepper. It's taken high and in. The count runs full. Like I said, first base is open, and Connor Shively's on deck. Medeiros standing in, awaiting the delivery from Pepper out there, and here it comes. Hit in the air behind third base. Behind the bag is Dale, the third baseman, makes the catch in foul territory, and that will end the inning. The Falcons get no base hits, but they leave 2 men stranded in scoring position. They carry a 10-0 lead to the top of the fifth, and a chance to close it out next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
We drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
Top of the fifth inning, the Klamath Falls Falcons with a 10-run lead, looking for a mercy roll victory against the South Medford Colts. It'll be the bottom third of the order for South Medford to try to get a run across and extend the ball game. It's Ryder White, Isaiah Thomas, and Montgomery Pepper do up this half inning for South Medford against Hayden Poor, looking to close the door and help the Falcons pick up win number 21 on the season. The first pitch misses below the knees to Ryder White, and the count is ball and no strikes. White reached on an error back in the third inning, but was left stranded in scoring position in that frame. The 1-0 again misses below the knees. Count 2-0 to White. Ryder White bats 200 even on the season for South Medford. Here's the 2-0 pitch. It's a line drive into right field. Gets down in front of Hunter Glidden for a base hit. And there is that important runner on base for South Medford. Again, they get him across, and they stay alive for at least another half inning. That'll be the first hit of the ball game for South Medford, coming here in the top of the fifth. Now here's Isaiah Thomas, who did reach last time. He walked and was left stranded at second. Corners in, protecting bunt, and a sharp grounder out towards second. Medeiros goes to Shively for one. Shively is going to eat the back end of a double play and just get the lead runner. So Thomas reaching on a fielder's choice. And there is one away in the top of the fifth inning. This will bring up Montgomery Pepper. Pepper hitting in the 9-hole here, replacing Grayson Peak. Pepper came in to pitch a few innings ago, but at the plate this season, batting 167. As he waves and misses at the first pitch from Hayden Poor. The count is 0-1. Pepper did get 2 at-bats in the opener today, a game in which South Medford lost 10-0, and he struck out both times. Here's the 0-1. Pepper swings and misses at that one, too. The count is 0-2. Pepper, as I said, hitting in the place of Grayson Peak, who finishes with just one sacrifice bunt on the day. The 0-2 to Pepper is looked at for ball one. Pimley, a nice job of keeping that one in front of him. The count 1-2. As that pitch was in the dirt, bounced in the left-handed batter's box. Just probably slipped out of the hands there of Hayden as he gets ready for the 1-2 pitch. Gets the sign in from Pimley, checks the runner at first before coming set. Here it comes. Ground ball to third. Safford, it gets underneath his glove and is in. Everyone is safe, and an error going against Safford there will extend the inning. Could have been a double play ball, but instead both runners are safe. As Thomas advances to second, Pepper aboard at first, and that runner moves into scoring position now for Randy Patrick. Patrick is 0 for 2 today. He's flown out and struck out in the first and third innings. Hayden Poor comes set, and the pitch. That one misses off the glove of Pimley and rolls to the backstop. Both runners advance. Thomas to third, Pepper to second, I believe, did they get a courtesy runner out there at second? Looks like they did. I want to say that's Luke Nash out there, looks like to me. Count is 1-0. And the pitch is going to miss upstairs. Count is 2-0 to Randy Patrick. Patrick hits .267 this season. In the leadoff spot, he leads the team in runs scored. He's got 12 runs scored this season. Set out there is Poor. And the 2-0 is fouled back. Count now 2 balls and a strike to Patrick. Liam Edgar is on deck for South Medford. Top of the 5th inning, the Falcons lead 10-0. This was a similar spot that Colin Tacchini found himself in the top of the 5th inning of the opener today. It's the 2-1. It's going to miss upstairs, 3-1. Take you back to that inning in which South Medford again faced losing via mercy rule. They were able to get the leadoff runner on an error, followed that up with a walk. Both of those runners got into scoring position, but back-to-back Ks allowed the Falcons to hold on and win that game. As the 3-1 gets across, middle for strike 2, and the count runs full. Poor trying to invoke similar heroics here in the top of the 5th inning in this one. Poor, of course, the relief pitcher in this contest, trying to get Corbin Hamilton a win on his record. If they can hold on and end the game here in a mercy rule. Full count is taken for strike 3. Poor again with a challenge fastball. This time got Patrick looking for the second out in the 5th inning. Second time Patrick's been down on strikes today, and it brings up Liam Edgar, who's gone down on strikes 2 previous times in the contest, once in the 1st and once in the 3rd. South Medford down to their final out, but a base hit would extend this one. As that pitch misses upstairs, the count is 1-0. Edgar had to duck out of the way of it. Edgar on the season batting .174. He is 4 for his first 23 this summer, but does have 3 RBI. So he's seemingly come up in these spots in the few times he's been able to get on base so far this summer. He takes ball 2 low and away. Poor is set with the 2-0 and the delivery. That one's looked at for a strike, knee high on the outside part of the plate, 2-1. If Edgar finds a way to get on base, Cole Johannes is on deck for South Medford. Poor set once more, the 2-1. Kicks and delivers. Fouled back, 2-2. And the Colts down to their final strike of the evening here at Kiger Stadium. At second is is Nash. At third is Thomas. And it's 2-2 count at the plate to Liam Edgar. Hayden Poor brings himself together on the mound. Steps and delivers. The 2-2 is hit in the air, shallow right field. Coming in is Hunter Glitt, and he makes the catch. And that is the ball game. The Klamath Falls Falcons with a 10-0 victory against South Medford in the nightcap tonight on 104.3 and 960 Sports. Stick around. We'll break this one down for you and set you up for our upcoming road trip, which begins tomorrow. So stick around for our brief post-game coverage. It's the Falcons with a 10-0 win. 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
Game 2 is final, and the Klamath Falls Falcons defeating the South Medford Colts 10-0. For the Falcons tonight, 10 runs on 6 hits. They commit 2 errors, and they leave 6 runners on base. For South Medford, no runs on 1 hit. They commit 3 errors. They leave 5 runners on base. The winning pitcher tonight is Corbin Hamilton, going 3 1/3 innings without allowing a hit or a run. He struck out 4 and walked 2. The losing pitcher tonight for South Medford is Gunnar Dale, who pitched the first third of an inning, got through 9 batters, giving up 4 hits, 8 runs, 6 of them earned. He walked 3 and did not record a strikeout. Offensively for the Falcons, although they scored 10 runs, base hits seemingly hard to come by today. Jacoby Takini was 2 for 2 with an RBI. Connor Shively was 1 for 3 with 2 runs scored and an RBI. Ian Meyer was 1 for 2 with an RBI. PJ Safford 1 for 3 with a run scored and an RBI. And Ryan Glidden had an RBI on a sacrifice fly in the first inning, but he finished 0 for 2. Now for South Medford, their 1 hit went to Ryder White. He finished 1 for 2 in the contest. A tough day offensively for South Medford. Not only were they shut out in this game 10-0, but also in our opener 10-0. The Falcons collecting not only the home sweep here of South Medford, but the season sweep of the South Medford Colts, and in doing so improved to 11-2 in area play. South Medford dropping to 5-9. A little bit of a rest from conference play coming up for the Falcons as they hit the road tomorrow, taking on North Eugene at Swede Johnson Stadium. 7:30 first pitch for a single 9-inning affair. If you can't make the trip to Eugene, that's all right. We'll have the coverage for you right where you found it tonight, whether it's on the radio on 104.3 and 960 Sports or on mybasin.com. Our coverage of the Falcons on the road continues the next day. On Thursday, they'll be taking on the Salem Dodgers in a 1 o'clock doubleheader from Sprague High School. We'll be live there before returning home with the Klamath Falls Falcons. An area doubleheader is the final home doubleheader of the season for the Falcons on Friday night, 5:30 against North Jackson. Whether you're making the trip or not, hope to have you along here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. Otherwise, this about does it for us tonight. Our coverage from Kiger Stadium couldn't be done without a few of these people I'll mention right now. Both head coaches, Sean Teeters for the Klamath Falls Falcons and his staff, Ryan McHenry and Jed Sellers from South Medford, as well as our public address announcer and official scorer, Mike Safford. Big thanks to everybody involved with making tonight's broadcast possible. The Klamath Falls Falcons with a couple of 10-0 wins against the South Medford Colts. Back in action tomorrow in Eugene. But until then, my name is Josh Eldridge saying so long and good night from Kiger Stadium in Klamath Falls.